Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
Don't watch, don't read magazines, don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal. More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question authority.
Go ahead and talk about this.
All right, welcome back, Truth Seeker. I think the sound's done.
The conference ID you entered is temporarily unavailable.
What?
Goodbye.
Yeah, we're definitely having technical issues tonight. I don't know what that one's about. It looks like we actually might not have a call board tonight. All right, you guys, it is TFR. It's the Wednesday show, and maybe the technical glitches took a new turn. I mean, it's in the past we've had it where the call board's down, but yeah, it says, I don't even know what this means. Must be some tech terminology. It says bridge unavailable. Access to this bridge is temporarily unavailable. And that's what I'm looking at, where normally I would see the callers. Well, that is problematic because I was planning on mostly doing calls tonight. I didn't have a whole lot new to talk about. RIP to Martin Luther King Jr.'s son. I'm sure a lot of people saw that headline. This past Monday, exactly 7 days after his father's birthday, which also fell on Martin Luther King Jr. Day this year. And just in case you missed that headline, I emphasize that, sadly, something fateful and related to MLK's death was probably coming because January 15th was the 95th anniversary of MLK's birthday. And again, he was assassinated on the 95th day in 1968. And in the year his supposed assassin died, that was in 98. It was 95 days after Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And again, Martin Luther King Jr., he assumed the name Martin Luther after the man who wrote the 95 Theses leading the Protestant Reformation back in the 15th and 16th century. And I guess really it was pinned at the beginning of the 16th century, but it didn't happen overnight. But yeah, exactly 1 week later, MLK's son dead at 62. And if you missed the video I did on that, it is up on my YouTube channel. You're welcome to take a peek. Since it looks like we don't have a call board tonight, I'm actually going to switch it over to the backup phone line. And unfortunately, this one's not a call board. It's my cell phone. So there's no waiting in line. It's just you got to keep dialing until your call gets through. And yeah, what a major bummer. On the 24th day of 24, things take a turn for the worse. I don't know. I don't know if this TFR is a sinking ship or what's going on, because Chris Geo is just missing in action. I really hope Chris Geo and his wife are okay. It seems strange that there's no communication from them. They haven't uploaded a show to their YouTube channel in months, and it just really does make me wonder. As we know, the network's been needing a tune-up for several months now. So the number up on the screen, disregard that number. We're going to change it to my cell phone. We will take calls tonight. And yeah, sadly, I really didn't prepare much to talk about tonight just because there's not a whole lot going on that's even worth mentioning. Another rigged football season, another rigged primary for the chump. But yeah, maybe the callers we'll have some good thoughts tonight. So if you do want to dial in, we're going to the backup line. It's 509-560-4982. And let me make sure that line is open. It is. So if you would like to phone in tonight, be part of the show, you got something to talk about, please feel free to call in. If you're watching us on YouTube, the number is up on the screen. Again, if you're not, 509-560-4982 is the one. And first call from 360. What's up, 360?
Hey, what up? What up, Zach? Hey, I was on Facebook a little bit ago, and I came across this little picture. Every quarterback that beats, or every team that beats the Bills, the next game they lose. It goes back to 2020. The Texans lost to the Chiefs after they beat them in that upset game in the wild card.
Somebody called our sports show and made that point. I think they talked about it on ESPN today, that pattern. So, yeah, that is interesting.
So, peace out.
Well, thank you to both of you. Have a good night. All right, take care.
You too.
By the way, for all you Michiganders, did you know that the Detroit Lions were once the Portsmouth Spartans? You should get a load of their old uniforms, the Portsmouth Spartans. Maybe that purple just doesn't belong to the Ravens in the Super Bowl 58 logo, if you know what I'm saying. 347, what's up?
You can hear me, Zach?
I can hear you.
Okay, I'll make this quick. Remember I was talking about Doc Rivers on the sports stream we had today. To Marquette, and Marquette is in Milwaukee. And he's 62 right now. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he went to the Jesuit school, Marquette in Milwaukee, and now he's going to coach the Milwaukee Bucks. Pretty interesting.
Is this any significance of him being 62?
Perhaps. I have to think about it more.
Okay, so my next point. You see Harbaugh took the Chargers job today too, right?
Yeah, which is real interesting because, again, the Ravens became 4-7 versus the Chargers this year, and it was the Harbaugh brothers in Super Bowl 47 where the lights went out. Of course, Chargers has to do with electricity, and again, the Ravens made the Chargers 4-7 this year. I'm actually going to look how many days it was from that Chargers-Ravens game to him taking the job. I'm sure there's something to it.
Okay, that's it. Those are only two quick points I had.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, take care.
Okay.
All right, here, let's pull it up real quick. Ravens-Chargers box score should take us to the game. We know the Chargers fell to 4-7. We saw it coming weeks in advance. Baltimore became 9-3 in that game. The Raven equals 93 in Gematria, what the Ravens are named after, Edgar Allan Poe's poem. That game was November 26th. That is the day leaving 35 days left in the year. Today is the 24th of January, so that means it's 59 days later. 59, man. 1 + 1. It's the year of Super Bowl 58, and he's hired 59 days later. You know who's Mr. 59 is Pope Francis. Never forget that Pope Francis equals 59. Benedict stepped down on the 59th day of the year for him. The 59th U.S. presidential election is where Joe Biden was elected number 46, exactly 46 weeks after the Pope's birth. They were Catholics, 46. And, of course, Harbaugh did meet with the Pope back in 2017. What's up, 740?
Hey, Zach, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. What's going on?
Hey, I love the truth movement. Hey, I'm one of them myself. You mentioned the Portsmouth Spartan. It's Portsmouth, not Portsmouth. By the way, I was actually born in Portsmouth, Ohio. Yes, their colors were purple. And now that you made me think about it, you're goddamn right. We are all deceived. This is fucking great. And I did not think about this. And you really are on the right track on this. You, my friend, you had it. And I'm thinking, my God, yes, it was a purple. And could that be purple red as in chief and lion? Like the lion's head? I'm just thinking, and you got Trump, and they talking about the Lion of Judah and all that fucking bullshit and all those lies. Come on, man. You can't make this shit up. You really can't.
The other thing to think about, if anybody wants to look it up, and my bad, Portsmouth, not Portsmouth, but if you want to look up their uniforms, they look just like the University of Washington Husky uniforms. They're purple and gold. Looks almost exactly like the Huskies. And, of course, you had Michigan.
Sorry.
Remember, you had Michigan beat the Huskies in the championship with a Harbaugh. And if you guys watched me for the opening day of the NFL season, I was out in Seattle telling the Seahawk fans why they were going to lose that game before the game was played and why Matt Stafford would get his 94th career win in Seattle, what I call 94 land. In Gematria, Seattle, Washington's 94. Again, Bill Gates became a big celebrity that year. Kurt Cobain died that year. The Seahawks won their only championship in the 94th NFL season. The Seahawks also lost to the Steelers in Detroit. But I bring that up because it's Detroit's 94th NFL season, which also makes things more interesting. And it reminds me that Chris Cornell died in, I want to double check what age Chris Cornell died at, but I know he died in Detroit, the Seattle musician. And I've always thought there was something going on with Detroit and Seattle. So we'll see if that parallel furthers this year with the NFL.
Well, what I was going to say is, too, is that Glenn Presnell was a player that played for the Portsmouth Spartans. His wife is actually the one that came up with the collars and the scheme for the silver and the blue of the Lions in 1935. With 35, you think of Roman Catholic, right? Which is in Ironton, Ohio. That's where he passed away in. It's a city that's, I live in Oak Hill, Ohio, and it's about 35 miles from where I'm at exactly. Imagine that. But still, I'm thinking about that. At number 35, and that's when they became the Detroit Lions, and they won the NFL title that year. You are on to something, my friend, literally. You really are, and I love that. And I didn't really think about it. I had to, boom, punch myself in the head, really.
Well, we'll see what happens. But yeah, with the NFL bringing or the mainstream media bringing all the attention to the recent years pattern of the color of the Super Bowl logo and the teams that have been in it and focusing on how it would make sense if this year it was Ravens and Niners, it feels like they're baiting everybody. Yeah, it feels like they're baiting everybody. So it's like, oh, maybe it's a more hidden purple.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And the Ironman game that they played in I think they had 19 men on the field in 1933 in Portsmouth, Ohio. They had exactly 19 men. You talk about this number 19 and all these effects, like each thing is always a 19 in between, like 9/11 and then coronavirus. I thought about that, but the Ironman game, maybe we should look into that. And I'm going to do my own study into that. It's more intriguing than what we all think. It's not just about the 11 men that was out there in the Ironman game, and all that bullshit. It's always been a Masonic Catholic symbolism. Always has and always will, just like the country. And you were right about the 13 years of slave school and the 13 bullshit stripes. Fucking come on. Like literally. But I'm gonna get off here, Zach, and I want to hear your comments about this. But that's my thoughts about things.
Sure. And since you bring up 13, I'll remind everybody that we saw the sickest 13 ritual last year in tribute to the Committee of 13 overthrowing Hawaii. Remember, Hawaii burned up this year by the numbers, and then Joe Biden went there on Hawaii's birthday 13 days later. And it was Hawaii's 64th birthday when Joe Biden equals 64 like Maui. Also like Barack Hussein Obama, who's supposedly from there.
Yeah.
So.
You got that, yeah. And you nailed it. And I just think people they're stupid. You're right. They're fucking retarded. There's something wrong with these fucking people. Like, come on, wake up. I'm really tired of seeing it. And I'm thinking, even if it doesn't end up Ravens and Niners, I'm thinking, you people should fucking be seeing through this shit that they're actually talking about this stuff. Like, well, it's rigged or not. And I'm thinking, and I have friends, coworkers like, oh, you're really falling into that. Hell yeah, I'm falling into that because I see the bullshit. Don't you see it? If you're not, then guess what? You're just retarded. That's just the way I look at it.
And
fucking stupid. That's the way I look at this shit.
For one other thought for the Michiganders, all year the NFL's been doing the scripted NFL joke with Key from Key and Peele being the leader of all those commercials. Yeah. That man's from Michigan. He's from Michigan, Key.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's why I think you're right. It could be the Lions because I thought about that. Because you said that Portsmouth Spartans. Like I said, I was born in Portsmouth, Ohio, and I thought Spartan Stadium, Spartan Municipal Stadium. That's what it's called. The stadium is still there. It's still erected. It still stands. And I was thinking, in that area is a whole hotbed. If you look at that area and the way it's geographically arranged, Zach, a lot of those areas are arranged, and I talked to my father about this. I said, a lot of it, because he's from there, I said, a lot of those areas in Portsmouth is basically in a triangle. I said, have you fucking noticed it? and he even agrees with me, because we always talk this stuff about all this, you know, what they call conspiracy theories, which is conspiracy truth. It's all Masonic. Everything is Masonic or Catholic Jesuit.
Yeah, and there's a fine line between those things at the end of the day. So anyhow, really appreciate the call. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, you have a good night.
Yep.
By the way, Jim Harbaugh rejoins the NFL, the league of 32 teams, 32 days after his December 23rd birthday. And of course, NFL in Gematria is also 32, ends the 14th letter. F is the 6th, L's the 12th, 14 plus 6 plus 12, 32. So what a fitting day for him to return. And yeah, it's just funny how earlier this year we had the Chargers pegged to fall to 4-7 versus the Ravens weeks before it happened, and led to Super Bowl 47, and now he's the coach of that team. It's just, it's something else. I got to think more about the 59 days later, though. There's something to that. It's also a span of 60, and he is 60 years old right now, old Jim Harbaugh. I think I'm overlooking something, though, with that 59. But yeah, if you guys want to call in, we do not have the normal 213 number tonight. The call board is down for whatever reason. So I am using the cell phone. If you'd like to phone in, you just got to get through and the line's open, and the line to dial is 509-560-4982. 509-560-4982. For some of the regulars in the chat, you guys never call the show. It'd be nice to hear from some of the regulars in the chat. Use that voice. Apparently, also in the news, Jon Stewart returning to The Daily Show. I haven't looked into the ritual of that, but I'm sure it's there. Comedy Central never misses a beat. The same Comedy Central that's done a few recent skits in recent years making fun of Gematria. Let's see. Next up, 863. 863, you're on.
Hey, Zach, it's Pinch Runner. Sorry I've been absent from the chats, but I am officially banned from them from our wonderful overlords. So just thought I'd call in and say hi. Sorry I've been missing for a few months. That's the deal. And I wanted to know if you saw the Canadian publication that showed the two teams that were going to be in the Super Bowl, where I think Reba McEntire and a rap singer were going to perform. It actually put the names there.
You lost me with the Canadian teams. Are you talking about the CFL?
No. A Canadian newspaper published the teams for the Super Bowl, meaning the winners of the playoffs already.
Yeah, they do this. So just for people who aren't aware, they do this every year. They get some viral story about, oh, look, they leaked the actual Super Bowl matchup. And almost every single year, one of those teams is right and one is wrong. They've been doing this for like 5 years every year now. And I think they do it on purpose just to get the buzz going. And then it also might bait gamblers who think it's like real news and it's an actual leak. But I suspect it's just more of what's been going on. So
just hype. The purpose of the article was to focus on the performers, and they just kind of ancillarily put it in there. Haha. And you're probably right. It's just to get the buzz going. But I just wanted to see if you'd seen it.
Yeah, I did catch that. I didn't realize it was a Canadian paper that did that, but I did see people passing that around, that screenshot where it said the Super Bowl matchup. And I thought, they're doing this every year now, so I wouldn't buy too much into it.
Okay, won't be dropping any dollars on that one then, right?
Yeah, that's also the same matchup that they're saying would fit the color scheme of recent years, and with the media jumping on that this year, just something's definitely up. So Seems like they're baiting people.
Avoid it like the plague or the cough.
Right.
All right. Have a blessed week. Just a quick call.
Yeah, you too. Thank you. Is it Daria?
Yes.
Hey, Daria. I'm glad you're calling in. How are you doing tonight?
Good. How are you doing, sir?
Doing well. Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to add something about the Jim Harbaugh being going to the Chargers.
Okay.
Yeah, so today is January 24th, which could also be written 24/1, like 241, the 53rd crime. Jim Harbaugh, of course, in the most pure cipher equals 53, just like Los Angeles.
And to follow that thought, 53 is the 16th prime, and it's 16 days after he won the college championship.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just same old stuff in the news. Same old news, same old same old crap. Every day.
It is.
Yesterday, the Trump with winning the primaries in New Hampshire. That was like that was pretty obvious. And of course, everybody was like, we're more worried about the other one. But I mean, they just do this just to screw around with people. Thinking that politics is actually real.
Yeah. Yeah, the primary yesterday, I didn't even look at what the outcome was, but it was just so lined up for Donald. I mean, there was no way he wasn't going to win the thing. So, oh yeah, he's 77, and they said the Republicans spent $77 million on it. So, DC on the DC on the 77th Meridian West, Secret Society 77, like United States. So,
yeah, definitely. And something else I wanted to share. This was from yesterday, of course. Everybody was talking about the Oscars, the Oscar nominations, and they were shocked because America Ferrera was like nominated for for an Oscar, and of course yesterday had 32 date numerology, and of course 32 in America, never fails.
yeah, exactly.
Never fails.
Yeah, it does not.
But well, that's all I got for today, Zach. And thank you for taking my call.
Hey, it's always great to hear from you, Daria. Thanks for phoning in tonight.
All right, thanks, Zach.
All right, take care. Bye. Daria, one of the best members in the community, great decoder, loyal supporter. She's pounded payment with us from Oklahoma City to New York City. So yeah, we appreciate Daria very much. Yeah, for the person in the chat who says, how come not the regular TFR tonight? The call board's down. So this is the latest technical glitch, and I hope it's not the end of the call board. If we don't have the call board next week, I might just have to retire from TFR until this network gets a tune-up. Seemed like people liked the TFR episode I did last week, the early version, since I couldn't do it at the regular time. What's up, 518? Listen to the troll. Dude, we've been just torching the NBA day after day. I don't know how you can be trolling like that. He's probably just mad that I figured out how to plug the hole. For anyone who has a Patreon, beware. There's a way to access your information for people who do not support the work financially. There's a sneaky backdoor way, but we plugged that backdoor this week, and I'm sure the trolls are extra angry like that guy right there. So anyway. All right, but yeah, you guys, it's going to be a slow show if we don't keep the line busy, because I really didn't plan for much to talk about tonight, just because there isn't that much to talk about. Yeah, exactly. The trolls, exactly. I mean, they call them with these recordings. It's like, how lame is that? I mean, what? You're too nervous to call on the phone, so you got to record yourself and then play the recording. Lame. 716.
Hey, what's going on, Zach?
Yeah.
Just quick observation. You've probably seen it already, but they're just to tie in college football to the NFL. Back in December, it was the Las Vegas Bowl, and it was the red team versus the purple team, just like the Super Bowl logo. It was the University of Utah versus the Northwestern Wildcats, and I do believe Northwestern won that game as well. So that's just something I found out just a little interesting. What are the odds of that shit happening?
That is interesting. Utah, Alex Smith, he was on the Chiefs for a minute. He was the mentor to Patrick Mahomes when he came in the league. Interesting. I appreciate that heads up.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Take care.
All right, yep, thank you. All right, we got the commercial break right now. So, it's like about, what, 2.5 minutes of commercial break. I can't hear anything, but we should. But on my screen, it says muted, so that means it's on the break. For the people calling right now, 404, just wait, call back in, but I'll take the call as soon as I can hear the song sort of in the background.
Here's the second word, fascination. A bit beyond just simple interest. Interested people are probably satisfied that it ticks. It ticks. And that's good to know. It ticks. But fascinated people want to know what? What makes it tick? Fascinated people aren't satisfied usually with surface information. They've got to know more than just what appears. What is really going on? What's making things tick? What's making things happen? Why do people feel like they do and think like they think? What is the difference between success and failure? Who has the appetite and who doesn't have the appetite? This whole fascination about life and people and circumstances and society and money and banks and churches and sermons and books and records and life experiences and enterprise and nations and color and races and religion. I'm telling you, if you'll take a new fascinated look at life and what's going on, it will now show up in color and sharpness in your future
From the dawn of
communication.
man, we have turned to nature to help attain balance within ourselves. But somewhere, we lost our way. Western culture is once again remembering the healing benefits of CBD, the non-psychoactive component of the hemp plant. That's why more and more people who use CBD report relief from inflammation and chronic pain, balanced blood sugar and cardiovascular system, relief from muscle tensions, tremors, migraines, headaches, anxiety, depression, and the list goes on. The big question is, where do you get it? iLife is a 99% pure CBD oil made with all organic ingredients, and it's available to TFR listeners worldwide. If you use coupon code TFR at checkout, you'll get $5 towards your order. Head on over to iLife.com now. That's AYA life.com.
Hi, I'm Sergeant Jim Ram, retired. In early 2012, I was facing a laundry list of chronic health conditions that my physician was telling me were incurable. I knew there had to be a better way, and I learned how I could reverse every one of my ailments with science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. In just a few months, I was able to reverse high blood pressure, gastric reflux, sleep apnea, arthritis, degenerative disc disease, heart arrhythmia, AFib, and many more. And I've lost over 70 pounds and kept it off. Now I'm hosting a radio program that's dedicated to helping my listeners do the same. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, if you're sick of being used as an ATM by your doctor, then you want to tune into the Your DIY Health radio program here on Truth Frequency Radio every Thursday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern and 6 to 8 a.m. Pacific.
This is Truth Frequency Radio.
No hate, no hiding, no fear. Real people, real radio.
Okay, there's supposed to be some music playing, but obviously we can't hear it. So let's get back to the calls. 850. What's up, 850? Another troll. God. Isn't it nice to know the trolls are always watching? Thank you for always supporting the work, trolls. It's good to have the viewership. There is one troll who I've had to keep an eye on. He's just been going way out of his way to harass Sweet Lady. And I noticed on his social media, he's been like his whole social media has been nothing but me and Sweet Lady for like 6 months. And I noticed the other day, it was finally something else. He had a bag of magic mushrooms. And then I noticed the next day, he finally took a day off from trolling me. I was like, oh my God, magic mushrooms saved the day again. And again, I've talked about how magic mushrooms can help people solve their problems. I think he might have finally saw how absurd what he's been doing is. I think the magic mushrooms finally made him stop. But I don't want to jinx it, so... Anyhow, it's open line night. The call board is not working if you're tuning in late, so we're using the backup cell phone. If you want to phone in, again, it's 509-560-4982. Chris Geo, if you're out there, please call. We got to fix things. Oh, man. Jonathan, you guys know Jonathan. Jonathan and I have done a lot of shows over the years. He's been under the weather, but him and I are going to collaborate and do a show soon. What's up, Eric in Seattle?
What's up, Zachary? I haven't heard from you in a while. I haven't talked to you. Last time I saw you was in Seattle. I had pulled over in the work truck while you were speaking and talking. I just I miss when you come to Seattle. But yeah, man, dude, I was at work today. I'm just kind of frustrated because it's really cost of living is getting bad in Seattle. It's just even just people you wouldn't expect to talk about it. They're talking about it. The work truck. When I pulled over when you were doing your last thing in Seattle, it's for this company called the House Studios. They do like photo shoots and film commercials and stuff. I'm kind of a lighting guy for them part time, but. Anyway, they didn't have any work, so I ended up putting my 2 weeks notice in there and dropped off the keys today. It was like my last day, and I was like, this is after my full-time job. And even these are wealthy, photography people, and they're like, man, I dread going to the grocery store. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's shocking how bad it is. And, the reason I'm bringing that up is because I was at my full-time job today. I do printing. I run a department in a print shop full-time, but in the Magnolia area. But I was just thinking about what you said about how the chump, it's his fault that this inflation is going on. Because during the COVID, he dished out $6 trillion or whatever, and everybody's like, it's Biden. No, it's not. It's what Trump did. You know what I mean? And I remember one time you were like, people like Trump come in and it's like a disguise. You know what I mean? And all the bullshit that Trump did. Sorry, I'm cussing, but it's all come to fruition now. And I know we're not supposed to pay attention to politics, but man, inflation is so bad in Seattle, dude. I'm fully stressed out for my kid. I'm working 3 jobs. I had to get a new second job at the Ballard Goodwill, after my full-time job at the print shop, I'm going to be going to the Ballard Goodwill starting next week, working 5 hours. And then when I'm not doing that, I'm going to DoorDash. You know what I mean? And it's I'm discouraged, dude. It's hard to even hear truth anymore.
Sure. No, this is what they're doing to everybody. I mean, they're making it impossible for the generation coming up to even think about having multiple kids, just how expensive things are. I saw a family in the grocery store the other day and I was like, God, I mean, how do they even afford it? So they had 4 kids, and I was just like, man, their bills got to be crazy. Yeah, I know it's ridiculous what they've done, and it's all by design. And with regards to Trump's the guy who was saved by the banks. He was bailed out several times in his life by the banks. Then he comes in and gives the banks the biggest payday they've ever had in terms of the way they make their money with, loans and then the interest on them, which we the taxpayers are paying. But yeah, for people who don't get it, we called it before the inflation even started. Before we even got our first stimulus check in the mail, I did a video and I said, well, this isn't good for the long run. I said printing money results in inflation, which makes things more expensive. If you have money saved, you're retiring, your savings are going to be worth less. And not worthless, but worth less money. Again, like if you had $500,000 in the bank when you retired, or your savings account, whatever it is, that money now, its equivalent value is probably closer to 400,000 than 500. And yeah, I mean, I was just saying the other day, the last time I went to the grocery store was January 16th. And funny enough, the bill came out to $116 on 116. But I looked at it and I was like, God, like 10 years ago, this would have probably been maybe $50.
Wow. Yeah. Fully. Yes. Yeah, dude. It's crazy. I'm still fighting through it. My son's seeing me stressed out, and I'm learning coping mechanisms like breathing and stuff. It's not like easy, but I can't do any mushroom trips because I'm so hyper focused on surviving. It's like that's the other thing. There's no more fun anymore. Like I haven't skateboarded in a while. I haven't played drums in a while. It's like everything's just work and take care of my kid, and I'm just so it's beyond money now. It's like my spirit is just like.
Well, Eric, what I was going to say is you live in one of the most expensive places in the world, and I know it's your home, but I mean, you can't always relocate, right? I mean, maybe that's the right move so you can actually spend time with your family, or do you need to? He can't come with you? Oh, I see. Yeah, he's got all his friends and everything. I see.
I can't leave my son until he's 18. I'm stuck in Seattle for 5 more years. I have to deal with it. So I'm not going to abandon my boy.
Well, I wasn't saying abandon him. I was thinking take him with somewhere else. But yeah, I know what it's like to be a kid in like your area and have your friends. Yeah, it's a tough situation, man. But you'll persevere. I mean, that's what it's going to have to be, perseverance. But yeah, it's like this for everybody right now. Just things are ridiculous.
Well, I just hope you come up again. And like this time, I realized, dude, I'm so sorry. When I was speaking in the mic, I didn't know, and I should know this because I've done audio before. I should have spoken louder, dude. So next time you're here, I'm going to speak, but this time loud. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So,
we'll do it again.
Anyway.
We'll do it again, man. But
hopefully when you come through, I want it to be working and I can go do speaking. But thanks for hearing me.
Hey. I don't know how much your rent is right now, but my landlord, he's the old man now. Now he's probably in his 90s, but he still owns the building, and when I was down there, I actually stopped by to say hi to him the same time I saw you. His apartment complex, he still charges way below market rent for everybody else. So if you want to look for a spot, maybe he's got a vacancy right now. Maybe he can save you a fortune on the rent. It's at the intersection of 2nd Avenue North and Valley. It's just like right up from the Seattle Center, and the lower part of the building's brick and the upper part is painted green. And he's got two.
I go by there all the time when I DoorDash on 2nd Valley, Lower Queen Anne.
That's where I used to live. I used to live at apartment 6 there on 211. But so he has that one, and then a block up from that, there's a building that looks the exact same as that one. He actually lives up there. He lives in that complex, but they're both his. Him and his dad, or his dad built him, and he helped him build him as a child. But yeah, maybe go look and see if he has a vacancy, because he just charges way less than everybody else. So
that's awesome, dude. I appreciate the help, Zachary, and I'll let you go. I know you got a lot to do, but I appreciate you and everything you do. And yeah.
All right. Well, hang in there, Eric.
All right.
Good hearing from you, man.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah, you have a good night.
Take care. Bye.
3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. You're on the phone. What is it? It's a troll again. No, it's a troll. 407.
Hello?
Hello.
3, 2, 1, you're on the phone.
You got to mute the video. Mute the video. You're on 407.
407. Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, what's up? You got to mute the video.
I'm sorry. Yeah, let me do that. Hello. All right. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, Zach, how you doing?
Doing all right. How are you?
Great, great. Hey, listen, appreciate what you do. I mean, people like you and some others really have shown people what has been happening where the average person just would not know it, of course, you know. Main question is, it seems like the last 20 years or so, things are so much more in your face, scripted, all that good stuff. Do you think in the 70s and 80s, my prime time of growing up as a kid, were those Super Bowls, NBA Finals as scripted and rigged as they are now?
Probably, but I feel like everything has become a lot more obvious. I completely agree with you. I remember being a child in the early 90s Bulls Blazers finals and just remember how Jordan could get away with everything and everything was a foul on the Blazers even if they didn't even do anything. They couldn't even breathe on Jordan.
Right.
But
No, I've heard you talk about that. So, you know, my main guys growing up, I was a Cowboy fan, Starbuck, Dorsett, Pearson. Were those games scripted at all?
I think it's been scripted from the think about it. Broadway Joe in Super Bowl III guaranteed it as the huge underdog and won. So I think it's been scripted the whole time.
Well, I had heard, you know, I had heard rumblings that the Colts players got paid off in those games, no doubt. So forget that game for a second. That was a little bit before when I was watching. So the Cowboys, the Steelers, the Raiders, the hardcore NFL of the 70s. So you truly believe even those games were manufactured? I mean, I'm just asking.
Well, again, I'll make the point. It's not just sports, right? At the end of the day, almost everybody answers to money. And sadly, in our world, almost everybody puts money above everything else. And, you know, it's just like if you're paid to have a fixed outcome, which is the way I think the league's always operated that way, to keep the narratives exciting and keep, you know, every game, any given Sunday. But, you know, like people can't fathom that. I mean, most people go to a job and they see things wrong at the workplace and they don't say anything about it because then they would lose their job. So again, it's just money controls almost everything in this world. And why wouldn't it control sports outcomes, especially when there's so much money on these games and their outcomes? And I mean, there's a reason gamblers can't ever figure it out and they're constantly losing and the house is always winning. If there was for example, if there was a children's sports league you could bet on, it'd be easy to sit and be like, oh, that's the best team in this league. Look, they kick everybody's ass every week. I mean, you could just bet on every single game and be a guaranteed payout, right? But you can't do that in pro sports because why? I mean, in pro sports, it's like there can be a team that's way better, and then somehow, some way, they lose to the worst team in the league, and then they're on the press conference. They're like, oh, I mean, it's just nothing but excuses, but. Anyway, yeah, I think it's always been again, just hold on. To answer the point, what we're always showing is just how scripted it is throughout history. And if you just use the Gematria, you can see like, oh, that's why these teams were in this Super Bowl. And that's why these teams were in this Super Bowl. And that's why this was the outcome in this Super Bowl. And, you know, here's the Lions.
It's pretty cool if you would do an old school Gematria session for us people who are not caring about sports now, but if you can go back and do a few from the 70s, 80s, just to show us people who watch those games, you know, how Gematria played an effect in those times. That'd be kind of cool.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, we do that oftentimes when we're doing our sports streams on Patreon, just going back and looking at history. But yeah, I could do that again just for everybody. Go back down. Sometimes I think about writing that book, just every Super Bowl by the numbers. People might like that one.
Cool.
So.
No, I did buy your one book that I could get. I didn't read it yet. The main book you say we can get off of Amazon.
Number games. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you two quick other things real quick. What's funny, when I used to watch the Celtics and the Lakers in the 80s, you know, the best of the best, right? Two games out of those 7 games or 6 games, two of those games were always, you always had like a total blowout. And I always thought that was so odd. Like the Celtics would just blow up the Lakers in LA or vice versa. Like the game was over by halftime. Kind of funny looking back and thinking maybe something was phony back then, because it just seemed so odd that would happen, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the other point, two other points if I can, and NFL today, I mean, Jesus, just from a perspective of watching the game, not that I do, but I do catch some of the guys out there that show the scripted plays. I mean, just watching the game, these guys are playing like, to me, flag football compared to even 10 years ago. At least it looks like they were knocking the hell out of each other.
Well, they changed all the rules. I mean, now a tackle's a 15-yard penalty. So, yeah, I mean, that's been going on. That's the Tom Brady era. You couldn't touch Tom, so they had to soften up the whole league. So, yeah.
I mean, so the last thing I'm thinking, how much longer is it going to take because of social media, YouTube, yourself? When are the idiots, the fanboys, as they call, when are these guys going to finally wake up? That, like, let's face it, you go to watch professional sports because you think it's real, correct? Right?
I would assume.
You watch pro wrestling because you know it's fake, but it's entertaining. How long is it going to take for the masses to wake up that they're watching bullshit? I'm just curious with social media these days, how long is that going to take?
Well, seemingly some of them probably won't catch on until their last breath as the myocarditis takes hold. So,
yeah, there you go. And it's kind of funny. I don't know if you broached this subject. Kind of funny as Mark Cuban sold the Mavericks, right?
Yeah, we covered that. It was a ritual. He probably never even really had the Mavericks. Sold it to the woman that runs all the casinos. There's another clue about what's going on in sports. The Sheldon Adelson wife.
You don't think he ever really owned it?
I don't think so. Just another puppet actor.
Well, you know what's funny? He had mentioned a long time ago, and I don't really remember why he said this. Well, let's go back 15 years. I think he actually was talking that one day the NFL will not be around. Do you recall that?
Was he saying that because of all the injuries?
You know, for whatever reason, I'm trying to remember.
Probably CTE. That's become a big focus. Just all the brain damage to the football players. A few years ago, they tried to say that former 49er killed the family because of CTE. So.
Yeah. So I hate to say, if you're an ex-player and you know what you talk about here, that's a scary thing, knowing you don't know when your number comes up, you know?
Yeah, you know, I saw Rasheed Wallace was doing a live stream the other day on YouTube talking about how rigged the NBA is, and it just seems like that's the way the algorithm works. I mean, he's a famous guy, big basketball star, and that video has no views and no likes. It reminded me of my own video, and I was like, see, that's just the way it works. Like, if you're going against the machine, it doesn't matter if you're famous or not, you get no views. It's kind of like when we had Larry Johnson, the Kansas City Chief, on here. He never really got much viewership for anything he did online. People didn't care that a former NFL player was speaking out. And then Larry Johnson used to be the number one running back in the league, and nobody seems to care that he's speaking out. It's just, it's not a good look for humanity. And, you know, I mean, I'm going to continue to work and try and wake people up. But for to not be awake at this day and age after all that's happened in the 21st century, especially in recent years with the whole cooties pandemic, I mean, it's just...
Listen, I'm totally with you on all that stuff. It's a mind-boggling mental strain if you know what you know, and then you look at people who are totally oblivious to everything. And let me tell you, I've got a bunch of college buddies, and we go back a long time. I kind of jab these guys here and there, but these guys, you know what I call these people?
I call people like this happy people. They're just happy. They don't want to be bothered by. They're not deep thinkers. They don't want to be bothered by this.
That's again, that's why the Romans knew that the glue to society was just give them the bread and the circus. You see it. People just want to be entertained. I mean, people. It's like I always make the point. People will spend a fortune to go to a football game, a concert. They'll get in a big debt hole to do that. One of the best books, used bookstore down the street. Well, they don't even exist anymore, bookstores. But when they did, I mean, you could get like an awesome book with life-changing knowledge for $5. Nobody wants it. So. Yeah. That's the society we live in.
Funny, I swear to God, and again, I grew up with all the sports, played sports or whole 9 yards, and I'm a historian. From 1971 on, until after I started having kids, I started weaning out of it after kind of when Jordan did his thing. I was kind of not paying attention as much. Then I'm glad I didn't because it got faker and faker. I think the one sport that may have that missed out on all the rigging because they know it's fake was professional wrestling. Why would they rig that when it's already fake, right?
Well, they came out and admitted it was rigged, and the ratings got even bigger. And sometimes I wonder if the NFL will eventually do the same thing, and it would be interesting if it got even bigger if they did that. So.
Yeah, but isn't that hilarious? That look how big, WWE has become, right? And it's fake.
Yeah.
I mean, fake in the way of the results. Let's face it. Those guys take a beating.
People just want to be entertained.
What they do.
Yeah, they just find it entertaining, right? Watching the beating, the chair over the head, off the ropes. Here comes the elbow. So, yeah, same things over and over, man. Well, I appreciate the call.
That's the thing that they're trying to do that with the NFL now. Get storylines and with Taylor Swift and. You got to be an idiot to watch this.
Look at the whole NFL playoffs. The whole NFL playoffs were storylines, and we saw them, like nearly all of them coming before it happened. McCarthy versus old team. Tyreek Hill versus old team. The Deshaun Watson Bowl with the Browns and Texans. Other things I'm forgetting right now. But again, it's been that the whole 21st century. 9/11 Patriot Act. All of a sudden, the Patriots are a good football team. Oh, the Saints can't ever win a Super Bowl until the city gets ransacked by Hurricane Katrina, and then the Saints finally win a Super Bowl over Archie Manning's son. I mean, it's a joke. So.
Well, based on what you just said, I would say the Lions should win the Super Bowl this year, right?
Well, Lions does equal 24 in Gematria. So if there was ever a year for the Lions, maybe it's this one. Lions 24. They just won their big game the other week with 20. And that was one of the other storylines. Jared Goff versus Matt Stafford, who just got traded for each other the other year. Matt Stafford went from Detroit to LA and won the Super Bowl that year in the Billy Cannon Bowl, if you remember that one. And then now Goff beats Stafford in the playoffs and has the Lions on the verge of a Super Bowl, someplace they've never been. And yeah, Lions does equal 24 in Gematria. They won that game over Stafford 24-23, 47 points at Ford Field when Henry Ford in history died on 4/7 in the year 47, and Ford Field equals 47 in Gematria. Anyway, I appreciate it, caller. I got to let some more people in, though. Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
You have a good night. 773. Yo.
What's going on, man?
Yo, what's up?
Hey, this is Joey, man, hailing from Chicago.
Thanks for calling in.
Anyway, man, my brother turned me on to you a couple of years ago. And dude, I didn't know I had it all figured out. I'm young and dumb. I'm fucking 26 or whatever. But I thought I had a good grasp on everything that's going on. And then I found you and talking about this Gematria and all the numbers and seeing how everything was really linked up. And then, man, that opened a whole new portal to my way of thinking, man. So I appreciate it.
Well, you're welcome.
Anyway, man, where do you recommend for a place like me? I thought I had just about all of it figured out, and then I saw your channel. Where do I get a foundation for the knowledge that you've acquired?
Well, I've written a couple books. I wrote a couple books. The first one's really long, but if you read the first 100 pages of letters and numbers, I wrote it for a beginner to understand where this comes from and why they're doing it. and continuing to watch videos. Here's the question I want to ask you, though. So you found my work. Now you know about the numbers, but has it really changed the way you see the world? Or how were you seeing it before?
Well, before, there was a lot of satanic and ritualistic, sacrifices and stuff that I followed along with, and I saw. How to explain.
Well, if you understood that much, that the world is ran by evil people and they are sacrificing people, then my work didn't change your mind in that. It just confirmed it and showed the method to the madness.
Yeah, actually, the way I actually became kind of awake.
Oh, hold on. We got a commercial break. Just pause. We'll be right back. Just sit tight if you can. 773. We got to wait about 2 minutes for the commercial break. We'll bring you back after.
This is iHeartRadio. iHeartRadio. iHeartRadio makes you want to move. When you have a great melody, song goes right.
Instantly connected.
I love it when the beat goes. You know, you can listen to Truth Frequency Radio on iHeartRadio. Just download the app to your smartphone or smart TV, and get the best of TFR wherever you are. Radio.
I'll see you there.
So you love talk radio, then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
See that you son of a bitch. Let me handle it. I'm gonna show them how good I am. Let me handle it. Let me handle it. This is easy. Let me handle it. And I made that mistake. Why would you give up a primetime show? My life was so simple. And then I did it, and look what happened. Now we gotta make it great again. Our country's embarrassed. The whole world is laughing at us. But is there any place better to be than a Trump rally? Crooked Hillary Clinton and the Democrats. How would you like to have her as your wife? What kind of a sick perverted mind does that? Bill Clinton, he's living in fear. Other than that, how are things going? Global pandemic in the middle of the pandemic. Where's your mask? Where's your mask? You have to remember, where's your mask? Where's your mask? Where's your mask? Where's your mask? You have to remember that you're not supposed to get set up. Let me handle it. Don't say that, you stupid son of a bitch. Let me handle it. I'm going to show them how good I am. Let me handle it. Let me handle it. This is easy. Let me handle it. And I made that mistake. The person is very low key. The person is not treated fairly. She's really tough and she's really, really smart. Marjorie Taylor Greene.
You see, this is a simple meme that you would find on the internet, but this meme is real. The Green New Deal surprise, it serves China and China only. You know, really what all this is going to do is help this man out the most. Potentially of China. It's sad. Really, 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 really sad. China. It's sad. Really, 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 really sad.
Let me handle it. Don't say that, you stupid son of a bitch. Let me handle it. I'm going to show them how good I am. Let me handle it. Let me handle it. This is easy. Let me handle it. And I made that mistake.
This is the Truth Frequency Radio Network. TFR. Truth Frequency Radio.
Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
Ouch. Don't watch. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question authority.
It's code has been compromised.
All right, we're back. True Sicker. We got 773 on hold. And are you still there, 773?
Yes, sir.
All right, you're back on.
All right, so from I believe from what you asked me last, it was somewhere along the lines of where did I become awake or supposedly awake. It was actually by myself, man. When I was in junior high, you know, like I said, I'm from the Chicago area, and I saw all these drill rappers, you know, coming in and basically persuading the youth that I grew up around and seeing how they changed. And this takes me back to Operation Mockingbird, where the CIA infiltrated all the news media outlets, supposedly to curb communism at the time. So, with me, Jack?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
So that's basically what really opened my eyes. Like I said, at junior high, you know, I was, you know, like 12 to 14 years old. And it really hit home, man, because I saw how the media and popular culture really influenced my peers and people around me. And, you know, me personally, I never grew up with TV so much growing up. My dad was actually pretty conservative, and we were never really exposed to that shit. So, you know, I feel like that kind of gave me an upper hand and enabled me to kind of, you know, see what's going on around me, you know, give me some critical thinking. And yeah, that's my question. I just want to know, someone like me, you know, who I'd like to say I discovered the shit by myself, you know, like figuring out, however, that all these people around me were being indoctrinated by the media and the news and popular culture. Where do I get like a foundation to find out where this all really began? I know you mentioned your own book, which I should read. But I'd like to have, you know, a foundation.
Manly P. Hall. Look into books by Manly P. Hall. He has a lot of really short books on interesting topics. I learned about Gematria through reading his book, The Secret Teachings of All Ages. And he has a ton of interesting books. The Secret Destiny of America talks about how, according to him and his research, the people, the founders, what they were really part of was something called the Order of the Phoenix. And their plans were never national. Their plans were always international. They always wanted a one world government. I forget exactly how he writes it, like based in democracy, truth, and justice. It sounds nice, but I don't doubt the part about, you know, the plans for a world government. The United States seems like it's always been military muscle and always involved in wars all over the world, and from the world wars and beyond. So yeah, there's a lot of different things to read out there. I mean, just, you know, I spent a lot of my life just reading all kinds of people. And when I found Manly P. Hall, it was, you know, Manly P. Hall probably wrote more about the occult than anybody. And the occult's something just a lot of people don't touch on or even know about, but they need to, because it's the occult that are running this nation. So yeah, you know, go ahead.
Yeah, no, by the way, I was jumping up and down when I saw Cat Williams. You know, it had nothing to do. I had no intentions of finding anything, but I was watching the Cat Williams interview on Shay Shay, you know, and him mentioning the 201. Once he mentioned the 201, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Kind of not jumping for joy, but I knew that I, you know, stumbled upon and I'm kind of catching up, you know.
Sure, sure. So,
Yeah. So I'm new to this, man. Like I said, I mean, I've been into the truth movement for a long time, but I had people like you've mentioned before, like fucking call for an uprising. You know, who are these faceless, nameless people? You know,
he was always a shill. He was always a shill. That guy. He was never here. He never revealed anything that you hadn't already heard before. And when he came on the scene, his channel just grew so fast. His channel grew so fast. He had like 100,000 subs in probably less than a month after starting his YouTube channel, which doesn't really happen for anybody. And one of the first things he did once he got established was started attacking me. And it's like, how are you going to attack me? I'm actually bringing something relevant to the community. You're just regurgitating what everybody else already heard from your nameless, faceless platform. And notice, for people who don't know, him and I got in a debate back in 2016, and he did retire from YouTube the very next day, but he came back about a month later and then made up a whole documentary just slandering me with all this fake information, which a lot of trolls still regurgitate to this day. But yeah, that guy was nothing but a troll. So anyway.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to take any more of your time, brother. Hey, I appreciate what you do. You know, I'm a newcomer. I'm learning. Still a lot more to learn. Keep up the good work, and
all right, will do.
Bro, I'm out, man.
All right, yeah, take care.
Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like I mean, from listening to what he said, he was already kind of awake to things going on, and then he found my work, and then the reason people who are already awake are more receptive to my work is because it's aligning with things they're already aware of. But yeah, everybody learns from somebody. I wouldn't have learned about Gematria if somebody hadn't read Manly P. Hall's book and then put the excerpt up on the web from it. I mean, it took both of those things happening for me to come across it. I don't know what's going on with Rambo. I mean, I haven't heard from him for months. He just, he said that people were harassing him in his own life, and it's what caused him to take a step back. So I wish he would have just persevered anyway and just kept on keeping on. I mean, that's what you got to do. That's what I've had to do the whole time. I've had to deal with a whole lot. People bothering me and much more. But hopefully Rambo will be back. What's up, 408?
Hey, Zach. So I just wanted to kind of, I guess, add on to what a caller maybe about 20 minutes ago was saying. In regards to like the NFL, I remember like when I was a kid, when I started watching maybe like 15, 20 years ago, like there was no Thursday night football. There was no international games. You only had 6 teams per conference make the playoffs. Like it felt like, even though they had like Monday night football and Sunday night football and stuff, like there was some like made for TV stuff, but it felt kind of more like a competition. But now it just feels like it's hardly even a competition anymore. Like there's like next year they're having like games in Brazil or something like that, in addition to their games in Germany and England. And now they've added a 7th team in the conference for the playoffs. And they had to justify adding that 7th team. That's why the Packers won.
Hold on. Don't forget that they added the 7th team from the conference the year that Brady won his 7th ring, the first player to do so.
Right, and it was I think it was part of the same when they announced that they were adding the 7th team. In the same announcement, they said that they're expanding to 17 games. 17, the 7th prime.
Right. Yep, that's right.
I guess I just wanted to say that it's like, even if you didn't think, even if you didn't know the games were scripted, I feel like you would at least think like something isn't really right here. Like it used to just kind of be fun to watch, but now it's like kind of getting, even if you were a fan, you'd be like, man, it's getting harder to watch now. It doesn't feel the same as when it was when I was a kid. And I guess I was watching highlights of a basketball game the other day, a college basketball game, and it's like a tie game with 5 seconds to go, and the other team just like let the guy drive right to the hoop, hardly any defense at all. I was like, if it's a tie game and there's like almost no time left, you're gonna try to take away the easiest shot, force them into like a 3 or maybe like some sort of contested 2, but no, that didn't happen. It's just, and it is looking more and more ridiculous.
Sure.
And,
in recent years, you have 16 seeds beating 1 seeds. It's never happened until just very recently. And again, it was Virginia who lost to University of Maryland, Baltimore County in the 136th all-time game versus 1 on the 16th of March when 136th the 16th triangular. And Virginia lost, and then the next year Virginia came back and won the championship by the numbers, which was one we saw coming a mile away. I think we called it February 8th that season. But and then you just saw it happen last year. Was it Purdue that got beat?
Purdue and Fairleigh Dickinson.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So.
And then the last thing I wanted to bring up was.
And by the way, last year was extra ridiculous because it wasn't just the 1 knocking out the 16. It was also Arizona is a 2 seed getting beat by the 15 seed after just seemingly they didn't score for like the last 5.5 minutes versus this little dinky Ivy League school team with all these former future NFL or NBA players. I mean, it's just a joke.
Right. What I wanted to say was I'm thinking about making a small book based on the all the decodes that I did for the most recent Rangers World Series championship and giving it out to fans.
Yeah, do that, man. Yeah, exactly. You're out there at the stadium. Yeah, do that, Evan. Evan's been out at the Rangers games. Be out there at the little short, it could even be like a pamphlet. Get it out to the fans about the Rig World Series, the Rangers winning it on the 119th day of Bush's age for the 119th World Series. And just you could start with Game 1, how it was all synced up with him. Game 1, that's when we put in our future for the Rangers with 50-1 odds. Game 1 was synced up with Bush. The season ended synced up with Bush. So
the question I had for you is, if I do a short book, should I organize it based on, like, should I go like by each number, or should I go by theme / like topic and like discuss the numbers in there and then move on to like the next topic?
People don't want to read. I'd have like 5 top facts about last MLB season, and I think fact number 1 should be what happened on the opening day, and fact number 5 should be the way it closed out on Bush's 119th day of his age, and then just mix in 3 other good points. Because people just don't read. That's what I know, Evan, from writing books. People do not want to read. They want to watch screens. So you keep it short and concise. That'll probably have the biggest impact. And then it also makes it easier for you to print it out. But if you want to make a book to sell, that's another thing. But I mean, if you're talking about handing something out at the game, I'd have it printed on a piece of paper.
All right. Well, I have a couple of months to think about it, but I'll come up with some ideas in that time.
Okay. But yeah, I think it's a good idea. Look forward to it.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, Zach.
Yeah, later. Oh, the 509 area code.
Hey, Zach, I'm my guy. You're a good man.
What? Is it? Are you a troll? Is that a troll recording? I can't understand what that guy's saying, but it's definitely a troll. All right. Half the calls tonight have been from the trolls with the recordings. Anybody else want to phone in tonight? Let's see. 936.
Hey, Zach. I would ask you how you're doing, but I already know you're going to say you're okay. So I've been listening to you for some years now, for probably, I don't know, 5, 6 years. You say, and I believe it's true. I know it's true because belief is the enemy of knowing. That Gematria is how God makes the world through numbers, letters, and words. And the way that it is made, everything that we believe, everything that is taught to us, everything that we're shown every day is given to us through numbers, letters, and words, through the media, through all this kinds of stuff. So they are creating the world. They are creating everything that we know through numbers, letters, and words, because they are, I don't know, perhaps the new gods. They want to be our gods, whatever it is. I know you don't like this, Zach, because I've followed you for a long time. I've listened to you for a long time. You don't like the concept of the earth being flat and stuff like that. I am a knower of the earth being flat, and I know that everything that you say about Gematria is in concordance with the earth being flat. And, you know, a lot of people like to, you know, including you, I know you don't like it, but it's such a big deal because I know you say things like, you know, why does it matter? Because we have to fight this, I don't know what you want to call it, a war or whatever, against these people that are against us. But if we could just understand, if we could understand that the reason why that they lied to us about that, that thing, that truth, that the earth is flat, is because they're trying to hide God from us. They're trying to hide our godly nature. And if we were able to see that, we could see that we were the creators of our...
Oh, okay, I just got to interrupt. I mean, I've heard this argument a million times. So God made other spherical objects in the sky, but he couldn't make the earth spherical?
Okay, so my thinking on that is, why would God make 9 other planets with no life on them if we were the most important? Like, why would there be an entire universe?
So hold on. Are you taking science word for that there's no life on the other planets? Where are you getting that information? Did you go out there yourself?
Well, no one can. No one has ever been there. So how could we ever know?
Okay, there.
Here on this place where we live, our brothers and our sisters, if we are the most important. We are the ones that are supposed to, like, you know, love each other and take care of each other, and we do it through language, through numbers, letters, and words.
How come God didn't make our heads flat like a pizza?
Well, there's a lot that goes into it, so you know that's a whole different.
But if God's shape is flat, how come our whole body's not just flat? Why aren't we just like moving around frisbee discs?
Well, me and you and everyone else are walking on this place. And how do we communicate with each other? Through numbers, letters, and words.
Why did God even give us legs, though? Why not just be like flat frisbee discs that just glide along the flat earth?
Well, maybe, I don't know, maybe because we would fall off. But that's neither here nor there. We are already here. We're already here, and we communicate with each other through numbers, letters, and words. And they control this place through numbers, letters, and words, like you say. And if they were to hide that from us, then they would hide our godliness from us, our ability to create.
Well, listen, I don't disagree that they want to remove people from spirituality and morality. And again, that is the one thing that religion does, whether you agree with it or not. It does try to teach some idea of morality and what's moral. And I don't disagree at all. They are trying to remove that from people's lives. They want an apathetic, self-centered, egotistical society that's only focused on consumerism. But again, I don't see where the shape of the earth, you know, again, I don't understand the argument of why God would make a flat earth over a spherical earth. I mean, it's God. God can speak the world into existence according to Kabbalah. Why can't he speak a spherical earth into existence? Why is that beyond God?
Because, well, the reason that I think is because those other places don't matter. Like the other planets that you know that we have all been taught from day one, grade one. You know, they don't have people on them, or stuff like that. But nonetheless, what I'm trying to say to you, Zach, is that a way for them to rob us of our spiritual, like, I guess, spiritual selves. Or, you know, I'm not a very religious person and, you know, stuff like that. But I know that there is some kind of soul inside of myself. And I know that it creates things, kind of like a little piece of God. You know, I like to build things out of wood and metal, and it is the creator part of me. I created a child. I am a creator. But when they tell you, when they, the Jesuits basically, who are the ones that created the globe and blah, blah, whatever. But when they said that, they basically made me and all of us into space monkeys, like specks of dust that could be wiped out at any minute. And it means that our lives are ineffectual to anything, and we should not be attentive of our brothers that walk on this place with us. It takes away your caring. It takes away your love. And
Oh, okay, listen. All of these points, I would say, are valid thoughts. Again, there's a reason that every kindergartner, the first thing they learn about is the extinction of the dinosaurs. Because it's like, why do they teach kindergartners that? It's been that way for forever now. They've been doing that for a half century. I don't know why when I talk, I get all this noise and feedback. Your phone is super annoying. But again, you guys talking to flat earthers, to me, they're all the same. But nothing that there's like, none of these arguments make the earth flat. I don't disagree that they want to make humanity seem meaningless, and I don't disagree. I mean, they got a plan to get rid of people. But yeah, I'd make the Sega argument. Is that the first thing that kindergartners should be learning about? The dinosaurs and the extinction of the dinosaurs? I mean, out of all the things you could teach a child in their first year in school, that's the starting spot? It's interesting. Doesn't make the earth flat, but yeah, if you do start to think about it, there is a reason they're doing it. There's a reason they're doing that in slave school. The first thing you learn about is the extinction of a species, supposedly, and how it could happen to you. So I'm going to give you one more here. Just why is this flat Earth topic so important to you? Why not just focus on these other things without making this baseless? Jesus, dude, I don't know what the hell's wrong with your phone. But hold on. Here's all I want to hear back, and then we're moving on. Why do you need to say the earth is flat for these other arguments, which don't have anything to do with the shape of the earth?
Because it's the starting step. It is the way that you start your journey. A lot of people call you and ask you, how do I start? How do I start?
It's not the starting spot for anything you just said. I'm sorry. I'm going to move on, man. I'm sorry, guys. It's not the starting spot. If you're trying to teach that they're trying to take people away from God and morality, and they want us to think of like this species that could just be wiped away in a second. I mean, you can make all those points without saying, and the proof is the earth is flat. Because then what you've done is you've just ruined your argument to anyone who has a brain. And I realize there's a whole clique of you guys and a lot of other people who don't know anything about anything that you can agree with that the earth is flat, but the earth isn't flat. The flat earth doesn't make any sense. There's no proof or evidence anywhere that the earth is flat. All of the things that are observable from Earth say that the Earth is not flat. The other things in the sky aren't flat. You see opposite constellations from opposite hemispheres. That's impossible on a flat Earth. Time zones are impossible on a flat Earth. Yeah, I'm sorry. The space lamp flat Earth model doesn't make any sense, you guys. 828.
Hey, what's up, Zach?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, have you ever seen the show Impractical Jokers?
I don't. I haven't heard of it.
Anyway, they had an episode a few days ago about selling your soul. So they're literally telling you how the shit works. All these crazy famous people are literally selling their souls, and it's kind of an interesting episode. You should definitely check it out.
What's the name of the show again?
Impractical Jokers.
Impractical Jokers. Okay, I'll have to look into it.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So, but
what channel is it on? What channel is it on?
It was on YouTube. So let me look.
It says it was on True TV. True TV. It looks like.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll look it up. I never heard of it before.
And if you like, and I've been paying attention for a long time, like all these, like even shows and stuff will tell you, like they tell you shit in advance, like from The Simpsons, the show The Office. You know, there's an episode where they said, "Don't vaccinate your baby." It's just crazy how they tell you the truth in plain sight, but no one pays attention. It's just comedy.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I'll look into that.
Also, a few days ago, there was a thing on TV. My friend posted. It said that all these artists were performing at Super Bowl 58 during the 49ers and Ravens Super Bowl. So I'm not sure if that's gonna, happen. But it's interesting. It's on TV. So
hey, I got a question for you. The episode about selling your soul, was it on TV this past Monday?
I think, yeah. Well, I watched it on YouTube, so it was like a little clip, So I wasn't watching on TV. I was just watching off of YouTube. So I think I did watch it on Monday, but yeah.
Okay.
It has Anthony Davis in it, if that tells you anything. And the whole time he's like, he knows what's going on,
Okay. We got a commercial break. I'm going to talk about why it was interesting that it was on Monday when we come back. All right. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right, man.
See you.
All right. You're welcome.
Is a result of having a reason to be disciplined. And you don't have a reason to be disciplined. If you're just being disciplined for discipline's sake, you're never going to achieve and do and stick with and complete and finish the task that's before you. And so when a person finds their purpose, almost immediately with them, they find discipline to fulfill that purpose. And if you have no purpose, I promise you, you will lack the discipline. So when people say, well, you need to really stick with it, you need to be disciplined, I always say, let me ask you a question. Do you know what your purpose is? Because it's the purpose that puts the steel in the backbone of discipline.
It's amazing how people have been raving about ILife all over Facebook. They've been posting their testimonials just because they want to get the word out because it's worked so well for them. If you're not familiar with ILife, it's a 99% pure CBD oil, but the secret is the synergy between the hemp and the ayahuasca vine, the non-psychoactive component of the ayahuasca tea. We recently received an email from a wife whose husband has Parkinson's. For the first time, he's been able to sleep through the entire night. Another customer reported that they're no longer using NSAIDs because their tennis elbow has been relieved with ILife. The reports have been phenomenal and much more than we ever expected. Everyone should have access to this. That's why if you head on over to ILife.com right now and use coupon code TFR, we'll give you $5 towards your order. And we'll even ship it worldwide. That's ILife.com, AYA life.com.
Fields, Kataria, history, Darcy, light workers, and indigos. Join me on the Nikki Colombo show. It's time to reclaim our true history, our true timeline, our cosmic heritage. And remember, be humble, for you are made on earth. To be noble, for you are made.
This is Truth Frequency Radio.
No haste, no hiding, no fear. Real people, real radio.
All right, we're back, Truth Seeker. I put up on the screen, if you're watching on YouTube, what the call board looks like tonight. It's got this air, so that's why we're using the cell phone. Since everyone's talking football in the chat, what did I tell you guys as soon as the Super Bowl ended last year? I mean, we put it out for free. We said the AFC Championship this year was going to be the Chiefs and the Ravens. Exactly what we said as soon as Super Bowl 57 concluded, because we were looking at the Super Bowl logo and we were looking at how if the Chiefs made it back, they could become 4-2 in Super Bowls on the 42nd day of the year. And, our community, we've had futures in for both those teams, so we don't really care who wins in the AFC. We got both of our bases covered. And, also we did theorize that this year could be a rematch of Super Bowl 54 because Super Bowl 58 is the 54th of the modern era. But we also said, it's 211. 211 is the 47th prime. Super Bowl 47 was the Harbaugh Bowl, Ravens and Niners. So we have futures in for those as well. What we did not put a future in before the season began was the Lions. And the Lions have made things very interesting. And this year in pro sports, a first team has won every championship. It happened in hockey with Vegas. It happened in MLB with the Rangers. It happened in NBA with the Nuggets. The Detroit Lions could continue that trend. So that's where the Lions narrative really is right now, based on what's happened in pro sports for the last year. What's up, 206?
Hey, Jonathan.
Oh, hey, man. You're calling from the 206. How's that happening?
Oh, I got a phone up there a couple of years back.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm getting better though.
Yeah, when you're better, we'll do a stream, man.
Yeah, I just wanted to give you a little preview of what I had. Well, since you're talking about sports, this one I found yesterday, right? Troy Polamalu wore the number 43. He got the game-sealing interception off Joe Flacco in the AFC Championship that sent the Steelers to Super Bowl 43. Football equals 43. Polamalu turns 43 years old this year in April. And that Super Bowl was played in Tampa, and Florida equals 43. So I just wanted to add that because I heard somebody asking if it's always been rigged. Super Bowl 43 was obviously a while back.
It's all been rigged from the beginning.
Yeah. So I just want to just talk about a little bit of what I got. 157 dead rappers in 2023. That's a lot, but that's a significantly amount less than, years since 2020 started. 2020 was like 300 something. So 2023 was a lot less than 22, 21, and 2020. So 157 dead rappers last year. Some of the most notable ones were FNGT's, who is Gilly the Kid's son, shot and killed in Philadelphia. Another one I wanted to talk about is NFL 2-Up. NFL 2-Up was a rapper out of Tallahassee, a local rapper, and so he was shot and killed on November the 4th, and I remember driving by the hotel. He supposedly was shot and killed at this Motel 6. And I remember driving by the hotel and I seen a whole bunch of police. And, but this hotel is, it's like the cheapest hotel in town. As you know, I stayed in Tallahassee for a long time, but it's the cheapest hotel in town. But and I stayed in that hotel before without no problems. But it's just weird to me how he would be at, you're this local rapper who's known, why would you be at the cheapest hotel in town on a weekend like this? The weekend was homecoming. It was Florida A&M's homecoming, so there were a lot of people in town. And but the funny thing is just that you know, I was in that area when supposedly all this happened, and I didn't hear any gunshots, but you know, of course I could have missed it, but I drove by, seen a bunch of police, and the next day the news breaks. But his name, NFL 2-op, is when you put it in the calculator, it equals 42 in the purest, and of course that's the number stamp on Black culture, Black people, and so, and his claim to fame was but first of all, he was signed to Kodak Black, and Kodak Black has several people who were signed to him that have died or been locked up in the past. And so his number one song is called Ammunition, funny enough, and he gets shot and killed. But he had a beef with the real Boston Richie, and real Boston Richie is one of the biggest rappers out of Tallahassee who signed the Future. And so the way the 42 and the 59 connect is NFL 2-op equals 42 in the purest, and him in Boston. Supposedly, this is just a rumor, of course. They're saying that because NFL 2-op got on social media and was claiming that Boston Richie was a snitch, and he told one of the major blogs, and this became a big, huge thing, and they were saying that Boston Richie was a snitch. And so, of course, the rumor was that Boston Richie had 2-op killed, which I don't believe. I believe it was the police. But, so they have this beef, NFL 2-op equals 42, but Boston Richie's debut album drops on 9/5, which is a reflection of 5/9. And right before that, in August, there was a rapper named Jake Jitt who was shot and killed on a highway. Jake Jitt equals 59. And obviously Jacksonville's only about a 2-hour drive to Tallahassee. And let me see what else I got. Oh, the other thing is Boston Richie's birthday is February the 4th, which is, you know, you can call that 4/2. And supposedly him and 2-op had this beef. And 2-op equals 42. Boston Richie was born on 2/4. And Boston Richie's album dropped on 9/5, which is a reflection of 5/9. And let's see. I mean, 157 rappers is still a lot of dead rappers, but it is a lot less than what we've seen in the past. Since 2020 started, I've been documenting this since 2020 on up. So just speaking about, since everybody's talking about Baltimore, and most of the a majority of the rappers that died in 2023 were from the DMV area. A lot of them from DC, a lot of them from Maryland, period. A lot of them from Virginia, and a lot of them from Baltimore. So I just wanted to add that because you talk all year about all the sacrifices behind
connected to Baltimore for the Ravens season. Yeah, Baltimore, nonstop deaths.
Nonstop death, yeah. So most of the rap, like, you know, I'll go more in depth when we do our live, but the majority of the rappers that died are from that area, from the DMV area. A lot of them from DC, a lot of them from Virginia, and a whole bunch of them from Baltimore. And of course, you always got the usual suspects. You got Chicago in there a lot. Memphis always. I don't know if you heard
Yo Gotti's brother was shot and killed.
Yeah, I covered that. I covered that for the Martin Luther King Jr. weekend in Memphis.
Yeah, yeah. Yo, but so that's 4 dead brothers because as you know, Black Youngster, he's probably like the worst rapper in history, right? So how else could Black Youngster even have how else could Black Youngster even get any kind of a fame? So three of his brothers are dead, and now Yo Gotti's brother's dead, so that's 4 dead brothers, and a lot of the way that Black Youngster got his fame was by dissing Dolph, right? And obviously, if Gotti greenlighted it because Gotti was the head of the label. So, right after Dolph died, Black Youngster, he goes to this fake grave site, and you can see the last name Thornton, and it's really, really tasteless. Like the man's dead, and now you still dissing him. But obviously, Gotti greenlighted that because he's the head of the label. He could have said, "No, we're not putting this out," and now his brother's gone. And I can't think of a worse rapper besides Black Youngster. Like, I really can't think of nobody worse. I mean, it's just horrible. Like, so that's pretty much it. I got a lot more, but obviously we need our own show.
Yeah, whenever you're ready. Whenever you're ready. The only thing is, though, man, it's like people only care if they're the big name rappers. They don't care unless they're a major name. So.
Oh yeah, I know. That's why. Exactly. That's why That's why the first book I made, I basically ditched it and just decided to go with all the famous rappers from all time.
Yeah.
So, and I'm just going to do it in volumes, the first 38 rappers, the first most famous 38 rappers. And then volume 2 will be the next 38. But there wasn't that many famous rappers that died last year.
Yeah, there wasn't. Magoo right after the 50th anniversary was probably the most famous rapper. You had Gangsta Boo at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, Gangsta Boo. Yeah, we started the year with Gangsta Boo, and then Magoo. Mark the 45 King, and of course Hip Hop Equals 45, and that was fitting for the 50th anniversary. But last year was a lot slower than years prior. We'll see what happens this year.
Yeah. I'm actually a little bit surprised that there hasn't been more since the 50th anniversary. It was Magoo, and then not much. First one I can really think of since then was just, like you said, Yo Gotti's brother just the other week.
Yeah. You got what's his name? Gilly the Kid's son.
Yeah.
MVPs.
Yeah, we covered that too.
But just another thing, just another note just one other thing that I noticed about the local rapper Tuap's death. He died on November the 4th, and that was a date with 38 numerology, 11 plus 4 plus 23, and it was also the 308th day of the year. You dropped a 0, that's another 38.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting how the numbers always fit so perfectly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, but you're right though. If people don't care if it's not somebody famous, or unless you personally knew them, or they were your family member. So, but that's about it. But I'll let you know when I'm ready.
Okay, we'll get better, and yeah, we'll do it when you're ready.
All right. Thanks, man.
All right. Yeah. Have a good night, Jonathan. Later, man.
You too. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Okay. The chat is talking about music. Somebody did the Maynard James Keenan quote from the Tool EP Opiate, and it reminded me. I wish I knew how many hours in my lifetime I've listened to Opiate working out. It's like my favorite album to work out to. I've listened to it since forever, since I was a teenager. I still listen to it when I work out, but you work out for 30 minutes. That's about how long that album is. It's just perfect. So anyway, it's crazy the way time flies. The album is old now. Again, if you guys want to phone in, we don't have the normal 213 number tonight. It's down. So you got to call in on 509-560-4982. And I was planning on just doing a big call show because it's kind of a slow news week. I covered the bigger stories already on my YouTube. I didn't want to talk about the same old. And we missed last week's show. So the call board being down kind of spoiled the plans. But the good news is we got the cell phone for backup. Shout out to Ralph in the chat. I saw Ralph said he's ready for Jonathan's book 38 special. Jonathan and I are both struggling to finish our books. Sometimes I think I just stop my book and help Jonathan finish his. For whatever reason, people seem to care about Gematria the most whenever it's a dead rapper. Those are always the videos that get the most views. So maybe that's the way. You got to reach people where they are. Yeah, it's the perfect title of Jonathan's book, 38 Special. 860.
Hey, what's going on, man? It's been a while since I talked to you. How you been?
Doing all right. What's up?
Good. I just turned on the show, just got in on my day's work, and I just wanted to mention to you and maybe the listening audience, and I've just been kind of talking to people about these things, and I think I left it in one of your chats a long time ago, and of course you hit it right on the head, and I might be beating a dead horse about LeBron and how he linked up to Kobe, of course, but I've never ever heard anyone say what I'm about to say, and quote me if I'm wrong, tell me, oh yeah, we talked about that, but do anybody remember when LeBron first came into the league? He was going to the Cleveland Cavaliers. And they said that, LeBron is worth $90 million. So where is funky-ass Cleveland going to get that $90 million? That same summer, Kobe, of course, came up on the so-called rape charges. And all the endorsements went right to Cleveland and LeBron. And that was just how, to me, that was like, man, let's get these guys up right away. And Kobe had already probably made $300, $500 million. So he kind of took one for the team. So I was just wondering, that's always been on my mind. And I shared that with a lot of people when they talk about sports. Like everybody's so upset that Dallas lost. Like we can't think that Jerry Jones just begged against Dallas so he can stay rich. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I bring these things up, how endorsements are linked, how corporations are linked, and they don't really care about women. So, have you ever thought about that, or have you heard anyone mention anything like that about LeBron first coming in the league?
I hadn't thought about it. I know the NFL shares profits. I think the NBA shares profits as well.
Right.
And yeah, a lot of these owners are worth billions of dollars. So, for where the 90 million came from, I'd have to look more into who was running the team at that time. That was before it was the Quicken guy. He's taken over the team since then. But
right, and it reminds me, and what made me come to that conclusion was thinking about it, because I remember I was old enough to remember when Deion Sanders went from San Francisco to Dallas, and the NFL had some, the salary cap was a little different back then, and you had to base on your salary cap. So Jerry Jones found that money through his investments with Pepsi and Pizza Hut, and Deion Sanders had a commercial where he was like, yeah, boss, yes, boss, I'll sign the contract, boss. And it was just a piece of commercial. But that's how Deion was able to get that $20 million or whatever it was to slide up underneath that salary cap by getting endorsement that he signed one of those contracts to come play with Dallas so they can win the Super Bowl. And I kind of figured that was the business deal with the NBA because of the whole LeBron Kobe situation. That's all, man. I just kind of learned this stuff by listening to Steve Coker growing up on Liberation Radio over here in VA. You know what I mean? So just keep an eye out. I appreciate your show, man. That's all I want to call it for.
Okay, all appreciate the thought. Thank you. Yeah, you have a good night. By the way, Kobe Bryant, since you brought him up, we're almost to his death anniversary. Of course, it's in 2 days, January 26th. And recall in history, Kobe had that career high 81 points. Kobe Bean Bryant equals 81, but he did it on January 22nd. Did you just notice that on January 22nd, Joel Embiid, who plays for Philadelphia, Kobe's hometown, had his career high of 70? I mean, that's a lot of points too. But on the same day that Kobe scored 81. 347.
Seen a dead wrestler in the news. His name was he was dead at age 56. His wrestling name is called Ice Train, which equals 56. If you can look more into that, I think he's dead 42 weeks from his birthday to upcoming. So Jesuit and Society of Jesus numbers.
Black Lives Matter 56, right? Black Lives Matters 56. I see he's from Detroit.
His last name, Hope, also equals 56 too. He's dead today in the news. Ice Train. Yeah. But thanks a lot. And thanks for the daily Patreons too. Live streams. Thank you, Zach.
Yeah, you're welcome. I appreciate the heads up. Yeah, you have a good night. Yeah, dead at 56. Caller just said Ice Train equals 56. Let me confirm that's true. It must be in reverse. But Black Lives Matter definitely has that 56. Yeah, Ice Train 56, dead at 56. From Detroit. Detroit on the 42nd parallel. The Super Bowl on the 42nd day of the year. He died yesterday. Born in 67. He's born on the day leaving 48 days left in the year. Died 71 days after his birthday, or on his 72nd day of his age. 56 and 72 are big Jesuit numbers. I don't know much about wrestling. So it says he was in World Championship Wrestling. He made his debut 30 years and change ago in 93. Remember, 93 is the big Saturn number. Saturn has a 30-year return. So Saturn's connected to death and judgment. That's got to be part of it. What's up, Jason?
Hey, Zach. How you been?
Doing all right, man. How are you?
I'm doing all right, hanging in there. So I got just a couple little things that might help out everybody with the Super Bowl decode. I could be way off, but who knows? So the Vikings played in Las Vegas week 14. And if you look up the words week 14, it equals 58. Like Super Bowl 58 is going to be in Las Vegas. And if anybody out there listening remembers anything about that game, it was like an impossible score. It was like the lowest scoring. It tied the lowest scoring game ever in the NFL. It was the lowest scoring game ever since indoor football in the NFL. It is 3-0. It was the most god-awful football game you could watch. And being that it ended 3-0, that was the last Vikings win of the season, and it brought them to their 104th win against AFC opponents all time. And that's how they finished the season, on 104 wins against AFC teams. Lions equals 30. Kansas, or was it Chiefs, I think, equals, I'm just winging this off top of my head right now, but I think the Chiefs equals 64. Well, week 14 was 64 days before the Super Bowl. And God, there's more to. Oh, the Vikings versus Chiefs all time are 5-8 against the Chiefs. and it's Super Bowl 58. God, I know there's more to this too. I can't remember it all, but I think the 49ers, they've scored 104 points against the Vikings in playoffs over all time. But yeah, the Lions, Chiefs, all that stuff. I know that this game, it has something to do with, it was foretelling what's going to happen. And I haven't done a whole ton of stuff, and I know you could do more with it than me, but I know that that game stands out because it was the lowest scoring game ever, 3-0, you know, and it was in Las Vegas. So, yeah, I just looked and found those few things. So I don't know what you can make with that, but.
Okay, interesting. Somebody gave me a fast fact today.
Censorship and regulation.
Hold on. I'll hit it after we come back from the break.
Media. From the mainstream
Jason.
to YouTube and Google, the information you're looking for is buried by official narratives and propaganda. This is why TFR is 100% uncensored, unregulated, and listener-supported. The shows on TFR are not micromanaged by the station, and our hosts are free to speak their minds however they please. As such, the views and opinions expressed on our station are of those who make them. If you happen to hear anything offensive on TFR, please send us an email to toughtitty@tfrlive.com, and we'll be happy to tell you that we really don't give a damn. We stand for freedom of speech and non-censorship. If you also stand for free speech, you can go to tfrlive.com/signup and sign up for a TFR supporter pass and help us in our mission to keep the airwaves uncensored and unregulated. TFR Live, your uncensored and unregulated protection from deception.
Just now, President Putin denied having anything to do with the election interference in 2016. Every U.S. intelligence agency has concluded that Russia did, with the whole world watching. Who do you believe?
So let me just say that there was no collusion at all. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. I mean, Hillary Clinton. People know that. But the main thing, there was no collusion. There's zero collusion. With that being said, all I can do is ask the question. What happened to Hillary Clinton's emails? That being said, all I can do is ask the question. What happened to Hillary Clinton's emails? Where is the server? What is the server saying? Where is the server? I don't think you can go on without finding out what happened to the server. One server. You want to see the server. What is the server saying? Where is the server? I don't think you can go on without finding out what happened to the server. What is the server? 33,000 emails gone Pakistan. I think in Russia they've already begun so easily. But I will tell you that President Putin was extremely strong and powerful in denial today. With that being said, all I can do is ask the question: what happened to Hillary Clinton's emails? That being said, all I can do is ask the question: what happened to Hillary Clinton's emails? Where is the server? What is the server saying? Where is the server? I don't think you can go on without finding out what happened to the server. One server. What do you think you want to see the server?
You're protected from deception. This is Truth Frequency Radio.
Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal. More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself.
Action authority.
This code has been popularized.
All right, we're back. True Seeker. We got an hour show left. Again, we're taking calls on the cell phone tonight because the call board's down. We got Jason on the line. And what I was going to say is somebody let me know today a fast fact I had to verify to see it's true. Barry Sanders, Jason. Who do you think Barry Sanders' last NFL game was against?
Oh, man. I don't know. Was it the Vikings?
Well, they wear the same color as the Vikings.
Baltimore.
Yeah, it was the Ravens.
Hey, you know what I forgot to tell you was that remember I said it was like a fucking impossible score, 3-0. If the NFC wins, they'll have 30 wins in the Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl.
Why I think that's significant.
The Super Bowl is
yeah.
Jason. The Super Bowl is exactly 30 weeks after Barry Sanders' birthday. For people again who don't know, Gematria, alphabetic order forwards and backwards. Lions equals 24 when you run it forwards. When you run it in reverse, Lions equals 30. So 2024, 30 weeks after Barry Sanders' birthday. Could they do it?
You know what? Hey, I heard you earlier. I was out and about listening, and you said that all the new teams, the first-time winners, have been hitting. So, you know, and I remember like a year and a half ago, some guy called in. I think it was on TFR, and he had like this crazy Lions G code. And at the time, it's like, that sounds pretty crazy, but I'm like, man, this guy's got a lot of stuff, and I don't remember who that was. But, yeah, that 3-0 score, and then if the NFC wins, because the Vikings, like I said, they picked up their 104th win against AFC opponents and then finished the season with no more wins at all. And because it was against AFC opponents, and then there was a score of 3-0, the NFC could pick up their 30th win in the Super Bowl all time. And so I'm like, man, there's something there. And then, you know, all the other stuff that I had said earlier, I forgot a lot of it, but yeah, man, I guess the only other thing I wanted to say, since I'm on the line with you, you know, to everybody out there listening, I think that the police, you guys need to be wary of the cops. All you bootlickers out there, you fuckers back in the blue and all that stuff, man, I'm telling you, if you see people pulled over and you ain't got nothing going on, just watch them. Every time you see the cops, watch them, because the cops, they've been doing some real criminal, shady shit lately. I'm from Minneapolis, and I've been involved with it. I've seen it. I've had it happen to me. And, you know, the government, they give these double-digit IQ losers badges and guns and free reign to go, you know, victimize the people. And what that does is it makes everybody fearful of the government, because when the cops do it to you, when it happens to you, you'll find out that there ain't a whole lot of recourse. You know, I'm talking to all the listeners out there. When the shit happens finally, you're going to be like, damn, this sucks. The system is going to hammer me down, and there ain't shit you can do about it, right? Well, when people have that happen, they become like fearful of the government. Nobody wants to challenge nothing. And it's like they're softening us up, and they slowly, you know, Zach, they've been taking away our rights and liberties for years now, and they just keep doing it. And the people are scared to challenge anything because the government, all these loser politicians, they got these henchmen out driving around in neighborhoods near you. And as soon as you're a threat, or as soon as you have spoken out against the wrong people, they send these goons to your house. And these goons, they basically are losers that decided, hey, I'm going to join the winning team, you know, and oh, hey, they gave me a bunch of power, and now I can go and inflict my shit on people all day, you know, and they'll pull you over for a blinky light or a tag light, and it ain't about the light. It ain't about your safety. You know, it's about what they can arrest you for. What can they get money out of your pocket for? And they're out hunting people all the time. You know, I mean, you know the whole deal, the Supreme Court case where they said that the government has no obligation to protect you. Well, then why do they give you a fucking seatbelt ticket? You know, it's about taking your money. It's about stopping you for any reason they can. And then they're going to try to get you for something and get you in a jail cell. And that's how they beat the people down. And then the government politicians, they get to run rampant because everybody's too worried about the cops coming and beating them down. You know, so all these people that keep going and voting, I sent you something the other day about, what the hell was his name? Woodrow Wilson. You know, I don't know if you saw that or not, but it was right from a book called what the hell was it? From the Poisonous Tree or something. I don't remember the exact title of the book, but there was quotes in there from these people that were talking with Woodrow Wilson, and they were basically telling them the whole plan about the birth certificates and making everybody part of this corporate deal, and they'll have no recourse. I don't know if you saw that at all, Zach. It's like a 4-minute video, but man, I'm telling you, if you listen to that, I mean, these are quotes that were being spoken to the president that people voted for. And you know what happened after 1913 and the Federal Reserve Act, and then the people just keep going back and voting. Now there's going to be a bunch of dumbasses going and voting for Trump, thinking that he's going to save everything. And these politicians, they're no good. They just lied to us. Their police come and beat us down and take our money and violate us and kill us. And then when they get caught killing us, they still get off easy. I mean, and it's just the whole thing. And the people need to wake up. Our government is a branch. I know that they're controlled by the Jesuits and the big power people, but the government is what we get where they're in front of the curtain, you know? And the people, they go have these stickers that says, I voted. What does I voted equal? It equals idiot in all 4 ciphers, if I remember right.
Is that right?
So all the people, what's that?
It doesn't really.
I think it does, man. Idiot or it's either idiot or idiots, and I voted, they match.
That's funny.
It's
Okay.
been long since time, so I think that's it. You know, you can look it up real quick if you want. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. But yeah, man, idiot is I voted. Something like that. But besides that, I mean, the government is not our enemy. And I honestly think that the police and the government and everything, Zach, you know that the Jesuits control the world and they decide what nation is in power, and it's whatever suits their agenda. And it's like the police and our politicians, they're ramping shit up right now. And if you don't realize, I'm not saying you, Zach, I know you do, but I'm talking to the people, if they don't realize that they're in a surveillance state, they need to like wake up. Because
just you saying that. The #1 show on Netflix right now is called Muted. And what the whole show is essentially about is showing off the surveillance system. The whole show is about how this convict released from prison, he's like, he doesn't realize he's in the Truman Show. They're keeping an eye on him everywhere he goes. They're watching him from every street he's walking down, gets on the subway. They've got cameras everywhere. I'm like, what is the real point of this show? To just show how far along we are with the authorities and the surveillance system? God, they can watch him. And what they don't realize is the authorities, they got proof, or they got a warrant from the judge to even put hidden cameras in his residence. He doesn't realize they're even watching him when he's in the shower. Anyway, go ahead.
Right. Yeah, man. It's really crazy. For all you guys out there listening, I worked for the phone company for 20 years, and I was on the inside of the building running. I basically hooked up all the big fiber connections and, you know, like fiber circuits, even up to your home phone line and your DSL and all that type of stuff. I've seen and I've not tampered with, but like in training, this guy had test equipment for fiber optic stuff. And I mean, personally, I could tap into anyone with a landline. I could listen to your phone calls. I didn't do that because it's lame. A lot of people talk a lot and say nothing, man. I don't give a shit. So it's like a waste of time. But I could clip into people's circuits and do all that. This guy had this equipment that you could literally, I could log in as you, Zach. I could go online and like send a bomb threat to the White House or some shit like that. And the IP address, I could mimic you. And then they would come and kick in your fucking door, swat your ass, man, over the deal. And so there's equipment that I have seen personally that they can do that with. And that was, God, no, that was probably 15 years ago or something when I was messing around in that training class with that shit. And so then that's just me. I was a technician, you know, but the people that are in the centers, they have a lot more access. A lot of the stuff you can do it remotely. A lot of stuff I did remotely. You log on with the IP address and passwords and that. You get all this equipment and do all kinds of stuff. But that's beside the point. There's so much equipment and stuff that they're using against us to spy on us. It's the license plate readers. It's your cell phone. Your cell phone. They can literally, dude. You can turn on my camera. I can turn on my camera on my cell phone without my cell phone lighting up. From my computer, I can go and log in and turn on my camera.
Well, hey, the mainstream, it's like a decade ago. Jason, it was like a decade ago, the mainstream media even let people know that was the case. And they were talking about how, like, Apple, if the government's watching you, your camera doesn't come on. They put that in the mainstream media about a decade back. So that's, they kind of put it out there. And again, it's because it's the law of the land now. It's the law of the land. The Patriot Act and the surveillance state. When Obama was taking office, the immunity from prosecution for violating constitutional rights and going beyond the scope of the Patriot Act. So that's where we are now. These companies are immune from prosecution, and we know they're even going beyond the scope of the Patriot Act, which pretty much gives them the right to have surveillance over everybody. All they have to do is just deem them to be a potential threat to the government. So,
right, a dissident or something. It's crazy. And so from what I know, I don't know half of it, you know? And so they got way more technology about that. And so now think about it, Zach, the way they play these games with the countries, how one country attacks or invades and all this shit. Well, so when you've got the police that run around our streets like a military, they're like the occupying army, dude.
Yeah.
You know, they're like an invading force that's here to stay. And so they sit there and they run their bullshit on everybody. If you're protesting, well, they use violence. Every time that anything.
Here's what else I want to say about the police. Again, they stop justice from happening. Like, for example, I have this little psychopathic troll who's harassing us all the time. He's figured out where Sweet Lady works. He's calling and harassing her. And there's not really anything you can do about it. There's like almost nothing. But if I try to go do something about it, then I'll be in trouble with the authorities. But the authorities will say, well, we can't really do anything about that. It's like, that's what's bullshit. Get rid of the police. Let's bring back a society of men who handle their own problems. That's the society I want to live in. It's real like, well, what about the bad people? Well, that's why I have a gun at my house and a shotgun with 3.5-inch shells in it in case a bad guy wants to come up here. I'll put him on his ass in pieces. And again, that's the society I'd like to live in. I'd like to go take care of that troll right now and just throw him off a cliff. And I don't think I should get in any trouble for it. He's literally harassing and threatening my sweet lady every day. I don't care if he harasses me. I know he's not going to do anything. He's 5'2", but I don't like him harassing my woman. And there's nothing I can do about it. And there's nothing the authorities will do about it. They're just standing in the way, preventing justice from taking place. So.
Exactly. And if you went and handled it yourself, they're going to come after you.
Yeah, exactly. That's when they would intervene. If I did something, well, it's like, well, listen, he was threatening. He was making threats. I just wanted to take care of the problem. Nobody's going to miss the Chevron clerk. I mean, he's easily replaceable. So.
Right. Exactly. So you know what? The 80 or whatever, however many the percentage of people that haven't had their encounter with the police yet. They think that, oh, these are the heroes. They're the first responders. They're the great guys, whatever, you know. I mean, there's a video. It just happened just recently where they pulled a guy over for a tag light right here in North Minneapolis, man, right on Highway 94. You drove right through here, Zach, and you were on your way back home. I-94, right in North Minneapolis. They pulled the dude over, and now they were getting all Brody with them and shit, ordering him out of the car, and the guy's pointing his gun at him, and the guy's like, "Oh, I ain't getting out." He didn't want to get out, so he just drove away. Well, not until he got 3 rounds put in him, you know, and then they went and boxed him, slammed him up against the barricade in the middle of the highway to stop him. Well, he already stopped. He was dying. But to get his car to stop rolling, they pinned him against the thing. And then what do? They get out. They're all tripping over each other. Ooh, get the scissors. Ooh, here. And they're acting like they're trying to help this guy. You know, they want awards to help save the guy's life after they just took it from him, you know, and it's all just a show. They do it to show that, oh, I care. No, the fuck you don't. You just killed the guy. You shot him 3 times because he was driving away. Oh, there was no threat, no sign of a weapon. He didn't have a weapon, you know, but because he was driving away from the fucking swine, the swine decided to put 3 rounds in him. And then when their dash cams are on it and they go, "Oh, geez, let's save him," you know, and they act like they're going to do CPR. And, you know, it's like, yeah, dude, you dope. What are you doing, man? You know, you're just pumping the blood out of them, man, doing that, you know? And that's the shit that they do. And so the people that it hasn't happened to, they still look at these guys as these fancy, shiny costumed, you know, first responder heroes. Who you going to call when you need help? Well, you know what, Zach? Me and you, we don't need to call nobody. So that argument is a moot point. But when they're doing this shit, they get all these people to buy into it. And what they're doing, I think, they're slowly softening up our populace. So when the Jesuits decide, you know what? Now our new power is China or wherever. Because they're building shit up in India and Indonesia, all these, you know, the ground up, like our industrial age. They've been starting their new industrial age in other companies that sell products to America. All of our wealth, all of our jobs go to these countries, and it's them building up from the ground. And as soon as they decide, yeah, you know what? All these consumers that were Americans, well, they're all broke and jobless now, and we don't really need them. You know, but we still need the work from them. So when we're, you know, basically overpowered by our military, our own police force and everything, how long is it until it's, you know, foreign troops that are here?
Well,
people that were cops,
in a way, I think
cops, they don't even realize they might be selling out their own grandkids right now when they're out there fucking around with Americans. You know, Zach, you're not a criminal, right? But when they pull you over because you didn't use your blinker or something, or you got a burned out tag light, they're going to treat you like a potential criminal. They're going to walk up to your car, and it ain't about the tag light. They want to see if they can jail you for something.
Exactly.
And if they can't, well, they'll just take your money.
That's why I was saying a while back that if I became president, that'd be one of the first things I'd do, that you can no longer pull over somebody because they have an out tail light. I think the right thing for a cop to do is just, you know, if they get a chance, like pull up next to him at the road and just say, "Hey, by the way, your tail light's out. Get that taken care of." But yeah, exactly. Just out tail lights turn into big problems for a lot of people, and there didn't need to be a big problem. And it's an excuse. It's an excuse to see if they can get them on something, because yeah, cops are glorified tax collectors and they make a lot of money for the state, and they put a lot of people in jail that just didn't need to be there. And yeah, again, I mean, people forget that once upon a time there wasn't police, and again, a free society doesn't have police. They don't. So,
well, you know, back in, I think it's even in, I don't know if it's a preamble or something, but you know what? Old time real American folk used to see crimes and they would do something about it themselves, you know? And like you said earlier, you can't do nothing about these goons that are calling and harassing you and shit like that.
Well, and here, you know what? Actually, just even beyond that, let me rewind to 2014 when I helped out my neighbor and then he robbed my house because he found out I had some cash in it. and he got a whole lot. And then he went out and bought the same truck as me. And then he called the police and filed a restraining order against me, even though I didn't do anything. And then that got upheld. And then I lost my right to own a gun because he lived across the street. And it's like, God, all I did was loan this guy money, and he came back and robbed my house and filed a restraining order. I lost my rights. I mean, that's just as like why we live in such a bullshit ass society.
How did you learn your? I missed it. How is it that they said that you couldn't have a gun?
Because he had a restraining order and he lived directly across the street from me. So then it was ruled by the court that I was not allowed to own a gun because of that situation.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, listeners, do you hear that? Do you see how victims get doubled down on? When a victim calls the authorities to help, look at what the authorities did to that.
No, I didn't call the cops. He called the cops and filed a restraining order as a preemptive move because he knew that I was on to him.
Right. Okay, yeah, I stand corrected. You didn't call.
No, the system protected the criminal.
He violated you, and then the cops basically doubled down on you.
Right. And so I was just like, this just shows you how messed up the system is. You get robbed by your neighbor and then you lose your right to own a gun.
Right. If you catch some dude out breaking into your car and you beat the shit out of him, you'll get thrown in jail for assaulting the guy. You know, that's how it works, dude. I mean, I'm from the Twin. Anybody who's wondering, and the cops here are shady, dude. They've been super shady ever since the early 90s. And, you know, yeah, it kind of culminated with the George Floyd thing and all that, but who knows what's what. But I could tell you, the cops here are shady. They don't give no fucks, man. They will pull you over, tackle you off your motorcycle and shit just to shake you down. You know, I've had them try pulling that with me, man. They will barely even let me put my kickstand down on my sport bike. And they ripped me off my bike, went digging in my pockets right away when I started bitching that they can't do that. They can pat search only. Fuck you, we're doing our job. Shut the fuck up. You know, and of course, I had a gun on me. And I was legal. I had a legal carry thing, you know, but they were all over me, man. And they held me for an hour. That fucked me up. And that was one of the times that I've been stopped. You know, I've had them pull me over, stick their gun to the side of my face because he thought I was on the wrong side of the road. I mean, I could go on and on. I could like tell you stories about shit that's just happened to me. On my YouTube channel, I have just a short video where they double tased the guy. You know, taser, and then a second later, another taser. You know, like boom, boom. Well, you know what? If the guy just got hit with a taser, the other cop, why did they shoot their taser? And it even says in their shit that you're not supposed to use two tasers on somebody at the same time. So when they say less lethal, less means that it's still lethal. You know, but these fucking idiots do it to everybody all the time, man. They don't care. They laugh about it. I've watched the cops beat people. I've had them throw me around and shit, cuff me where my thumb went numb, and then my thumb was fucked up for like a week, you know, and they actually gave me my weed back that time. You know, they pulled me over because they got the wrong guy, but in the process, they found a little bit of weed, you know, like a blunt worth or something, and they gave it back to me because after they kidnapped me a mile away, put the spotlights on me and everything, I heard the lady say, well, that's not even him, you know. And then they came and took the cuffs off, and they drove me back to my car that they let sit on fucking Dowling and Fremont in North Minneapolis. Anybody that knows North Minneapolis, that ain't where you want your Mustang GT. You know, it's got a supercharger and all that shit. You don't want your car left there, you know. Well, then they brought me back, and they gave me my weed back and thought that, hey, you know, fucking this guy ain't going to do nothing now. And I didn't. Because I was young and dumb, and I went home and I rolled it up and smoked it, played Sega, you know. But I'm like, God, I want to go to the hospital. I want to go get records of this because I got big cuts on my wrist right now. My thumb hurts. I can barely play this video, you know. But who's going to believe me, you know? And that's how it always has been in Minneapolis. Who the fuck believes you when you've got sworn testimony from a peace officer who took an oath? You know, and so, I mean, you guys that are listening, You guys all need to wake the fuck up and realize you have an occupying army on your streets, anywhere USA, and when it's your turn, you're going to get the bad end of it, and then you'll remember this whole thing that you just listened to me spout on. And I don't want to hijack the show, Zach. I should probably get going so other callers can get through. But, man, I'm telling you, that's my message to everybody is watch out for the police. Man, it ain't like, you know, back in the day when the cop might have cared or helped out and been a friendly guy, because they aren't like that. They're dudes who were either ex-military or they were chumps who weren't willing to go to the military, but they want to act like it. You know, it's amazing how you could. I just watched a video.
We got the commercial break, Jason.
Gas station.
It's commercial break.
Oh, okay, yep, yep.
Yeah, we're back in the break. We'll be right back, everybody.
The first key to doing better is find out. To change your life, really, you need ideas. There isn't anything an idea can't change. Stoke taught me the major problem is lack of an idea, not a problem. At first, I didn't have any money. I said to Mr. Shope, I don't have any money. He said, that's not a problem. Now, see, up until then, I always thought it was. But I was confused. He said, no, the problem is lack of an idea on how to create money and wealth. It isn't lack of money, it's lack of ideas. So if you get the ideas, see, you can change anything. Now, to get ideas, you need a constant study of finding out. Now, Shope also said, when you find out something that works, put the information in your journal. Don't use your head for a filing cabinet. Put it in your journal so that you can do the next best thing. Repetition, repetition, repetition. Go over it. And if you repeat it, go over it, sure enough, someday, some mysterious day, the idea takes root, starts to grow, and shows up in your bank account, and your dress, and your personality, and your lifestyle. But
The reviews for Extendivite are amazing. Here are some from Amazon. By Christine, great for heart palpitations. By Ann, before I started using this product, every afternoon, my ankles and my hands would be swollen. That doesn't happen anymore. So if that part of their advertising is true, I have to assume that the rest of it is also. Not to mention that when I had my yearly blood test, only a few weeks after beginning to use this product, my cholesterol had dropped over 30 points. I'm going to continue to take it. By Croc, I love this product. It really works. By Brad, works great, thank you. Tell us your story. Get your Extendivite today. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
For millennia, mankind has been searching for answers to the big questions, such as, where did the universe come from? Where did we come from? Why are we here? Are we alone? And Jeff, what the heck is the Fat Watch all about? I can't promise you answers, and neither can the Woo Crew, but they invite you to join them Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, midnight in the UK, for Freaky Friday, exclusively on Truth Frequency Radio. Rituality, multiverse, quantum mechanics, the occult, and so much conspiracy analysis that it will make your mind melt. Take my word for it. Freaky Friday. It's more than a show. It's a way of life. I'm Stephen Hawking, and I'm proud to be a Wookiee.
You're listening to the True Frequency Radio Network.
No hate, no hype, no fear.
All right, we're back, Truth Seeker. It is the final 30 minutes. We still got Jason on the line. By the way, shout out to the 2 super chats tonight. Frank the Truth Tank chipped in $2, and shout out to Carl in the UK. I hope you went to bed, Carl. It's late over there, but Carl chipped in $1.49, $1.49 with the British pounds. It's like $2 US. So I appreciate it. We're $4 closer to the dream. And Jason, if you want to wrap it up, we should let some other people on, but I'm enjoying your call tonight. If you want to give us one last closing thought.
Yeah, man, I will. Hey, but your audio, something changed, and now I can barely hear you.
Huh? I don't know.
Oh, okay. But either way, I looked at the chat during the break, and it sounds like a bunch of people don't like me, like MoDOT, Rough Stock, whoever the fuck that is. Bitch boy hasn't had nothing happen to him by the cops yet, but whatever, and I'm not trying to change the whole thing of the show, but man, I'm telling you, everybody needs to wake up. They need to look around, and they need to see exactly what they're doing in the front line of your government. Wears these costumes and drives in squad cars, and if people don't realize that, they need to realize that that's the tentacles of the government that are reaching out, touching someone near you. It's the police that they use. And that, without the police, you think any of these politicians would have any teeth in any of their bullshit they're forcing on us? No. So all you people that are hating on me in the chat, you can go fucking suck one.
Those are just trolls. No, the only people hating are the trolls.
To prove you wrong on that.
Yeah, it's just the trolls, man.
Politicians have no might without the police out here fucking with people, And I've been around watching Zach since 2014. So all you guys that are sitting there talking shit, I've been around here since probably 95% of you. And I know I can tell you, Zach, tell me a letter. I'll tell you the fucking words. I know Gematria letters and stuff by heart. How many of you guys can do that? I can look at a word and do the math in my head, and I know what the Gematria is, So all these people that are talking shit, and me and you, I know we've had a lot of conversations alone in private and whatnot, have we not?
Indeed. Indeed.
I mean, you know who I am, man.
And you're somebody I've met in person. Yeah. No. It's just the trolls, man. Yeah, the trolls. They probably had surveillance on us the day we hung out in Minneapolis. But Jason, I appreciate the call, man. Don't worry about the trolls.
Man. Hey, all right, man. You have a good night.
Yeah. You have a good night. Take care.
Okay. All right, bye.
773. 773, you there?
Hey, what's going on, brother?
Yeah, what's up?
773, you there? Yes, sir.
You got to mute your video.
Hey, I called earlier. Anyway, this is Joe.
You got to mute the video.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
You got to mute the video. All right. Anyway.
I'm gonna move on. He's not figuring it out. What's up, 302?
Hey, what's going on, my man? Zach, man, I was just wanted to say something real quick, man. I really think, it's like a hidden code or message or vibe pointing to Louis Farrakhan. I just don't know why. It's like, sometimes when you watch him, he speaks as if he's the Messiah or the Jesus or whatever. You know what I mean? Right now, that's in our midst. But he gets away with it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, it's either he believes truly that he's the Messiah, and, when you see, the letter X and disease X, and all these different things with X, I think they, subliminally hinting to the Elijah Muhammad movement, but really pointing to Farrakhan. And a lot of things are on the timeline of Farrakhan, death or however. I think it's going to line up with, a Messiah, Jesus type of vibe. And I think that all the masonry, all the groups, everyone is okay with this plan. And I just be thinking sometimes, this guy Farrakhan is really, really hidden, but he's mixed in with a lot of these things. I can see it. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I just want to say that real quick. That's it. I know a lot of times you don't really mention him too much, but I know he's got to be pinging in your head somewhere, sometime, somewhere. You might not just have the proper thing to say, but yeah, I think people should just keep their eye on him. I don't know why. I'm just leaving it at that.
Okay, I know that he led the Million Man March by the numbers back in the day, so I think he's controlled Farrakhan.
Okay, right, absolutely. Okay, I follow you, bro.
All right.
That was it, man. Thanks for even answering, man.
Yeah, I appreciate the call. Thank you.
All right.
All right, you have a good night. We're going out to Norway. Norway. Hello? Well, we did go out to Norway, but then the call dropped. 907?
Yo, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh my God, I appreciate you picking up my phone call tonight. I just wanted to call in to put some information out there. I was doing some decodes while I was listening to the stream. And I know that during the stream, everyone was talking about how the last 3 years we've been looking at the logo and how the colors match up with the winners and the losers and so on and so forth. Have you looked at just like the breakdown of rigged and rigged game in the calculator?
The breakdown of what?
Of rigged and rigged games. RIGGED and game, GAME. So rigged game is 58. Like we're going to the 58 Super Bowl. So what would the chances be that on the third one, obviously this being the third Super Bowl in a row, they have colors. Obviously 356. They come out and then they start to push the agenda that it is a rigged game, just like the WWE is.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, that is interesting. I do see that rigged game equals 58, and this year that's the NFL's campaign, that it's all scripted. So.
Right. And then if you also type in just the word rigged, it's 112, like the date that the Super Bowl's on.
Yeah, Super Bowls. Yeah.
112. Yeah, but other than that, yeah, I mean, that's what I wanted to put in there. Another thing that I saw was just like if you put in like a purple and red Super Bowl, it equals 104. Like we're going to the 104th year of the Super Bowl of the NFL. But other than that, yeah, that's all I wanted to put out there while I was listening.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you. Have a good night.
Yeah, no worries. Appreciate you.
773.
Hey, what's up, Zach?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, going back to one of the previous callers real quick, I understand what he's talking about, man, talking about this surveillance state. I'm from Chicago. I said before, a few years back, you didn't see anything along the expressways and the highways nowadays. Going from Chicago 20 miles north or south, you see these cameras that have been posted all along the highways, man. You know what I mean? And the people that voluntarily put these ring bells, you know, in their doorbell. I mean, there's nowhere to hide now.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Those cameras are on every interstate everywhere, for the record. And again, a lot of the shows these days are just showing how they can track a car anywhere, because all of these cameras are reading everyone's plates and keeping track of where the plate was last. Yeah, it's the surveillance state, man.
Yeah. And there's a lot of shit on the internet now to put on your license plate to reflect the infrared flashes, you know, to give you the tickets and whatnot. I don't know how good they're working, but anyway, you guys want to check it out. But what I have to say is irrelevant. So when you post videos about these musical artists and their deaths, you know, pertaining to sacrifice and whatnot, where should we draw the line in enjoying their music or entertainment? You know what I mean? Because, for an example, Elvis Presley, I love his old music, man, going way back, you know, to the late 50s and early 60s. I mean, should I feel guilty about enjoying some of these people's music, even though they're involved in ritualistic sacrifice? I mean, how much do they know, you know, what they're getting into?
Again, I mean, you know, to each their own. I think it's, if you enjoy the music, I think you can listen to it. It's just, at the end of the day, I mean, the message to understand is, if you got children that want to grow up and be entertainers, maybe you should sit down and be like, you know what? Hey, by all means, become very skilled at that. But maybe, show kids what's going on in the industry. Just like, isn't it interesting how many of these people just die at such a young age and their family members? It's a dark topic, so I don't know what the right age to approach it is. But again, that's the main takeaway that I want people to see. This entertainment world, you want to be up on the stage, you're probably going to have to give up your mom, your dad, your friends, your siblings somewhere down the road. And that's and look at Elvis. Elvis didn't live to be very old. So.
Right. And what's your take on it? I mean, do most of these entertainers know when their time is coming, or what do you think about that?
I only know as much as I know. Again, David Bowie's song "Rock and Roll Suicide" says "too young to choose it." So maybe they do know, but they do it anyway. I mean, I've seen people in my own videos saying, "Man, if somebody came to me and said I could be famous for the next 10 years, I'd do it too." So I was like, "Okay, that's you. If you sign on the line and you know you're going to die in 10 years, but you're going to really enjoy the next 10 years, I mean, that's your choice." But anyway.
Right. All right, Jack. Appreciate your feedback, brother.
All right. Yeah. Have a good night.
You too.
All right. Norway is trying again. Norway.
Have a good night. All right.
Hello.
Hello?
Yeah.
Okay, you can hear me now. I'm behind on the stream, and I was calling from Skype, so that's why I didn't hear you earlier. Sorry about that. I was calling about the Detroit Lions and the Super Bowl because do you know when Detroit won their last championship?
1957. 66 years ago.
66 years and 6 months.
Yeah, Lions does have the Gematria 66 as well. NFL's got the 66 connection. So yeah, that's another fitting thing potentially for the Lions.
And do you know who? I only heard the last hour, so I don't know if it's been said that. Do you know who Jared Goff shares his birthday with?
Usher
and also Stephen A. Smith.
Oh, okay, Stephen A. Smith. All right.
And I guess Dwight Eisenhower as well. It was, and King James II. It was a lot of famous birthday, but his record. Do you know the final score of the game in 1957?
57?
Yeah, the last.
I forget. What was the score?
You know the total points.
What was the score?
It was 14-59. The Lions won. It was 73 points. That Jared Goff can win his. He can become 7-3 in the playoffs, and he also can be 73, like 73rd game all time. So that's two connections there. And,
interesting.
George Floyd died. No, he also had the birthday on October 14th. And his connections with the Lions, because from his death, it's 3 years and 37 weeks, the 68th pride, and that's also 193 and 44 months, and 190, like 193 is the Lions has the 44 Gematria, and it's 193 weeks from his death to the Super Bowl. Also 44 months, another connection. And he has the same birthday as Jared Goff. And also the San Francisco player who died, Richard Dean. Did he cover him?
Richard Dean? No.
He played, he also, he died at 68. That was the connection. He died at 68. His name, Richard Dean, he died like 4 years ago. He died on October 14th, I think. He died on the birthday of Jared Goff.
Huh. Okay.
And he played for the Niners. He also won a couple of Super Bowls for them. He died at the age of 68. So maybe like that's the death blow, like to the Niners. And Jared Goff has a lot of connections there because I think he died October 14th, if I'm not mistaken. So I just wanted to point those things out. There's also a couple other connections, but I haven't written them down. So I just thought it was. I think it would be more fitting that the Lions won. Everybody's expecting all the other Gematria. I've seen they say that it's a lock with the Niners. No, it's Fred Dean. Fred Dean. He died October 14th, 2020 in Jackson, Mississippi. 68 years old. Not so Fred Dean is his name. Frederick Rudolph Dean.
Okay. I'll have to look that one up. You did some good research.
So I should have been more prepared, but once I saw the Super Bowl picture, I just thought I would call in it, and it's quite late there. It's like 6 in the morning, so.
Yeah, get some rest, man, but I appreciate the call. Good research. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
All right. You take care.
Okay.
All right. All the way from Norway, 775.
Hi there, Zach. I just signed up to your Patreon.
Did you win on the Blazers tonight? Nice payout again. We're hitting those upsets left and right in the NBA. How'd you do?
Hell, man, I did pretty good because I bet against every fucking pick that you did.
Man, you must be having a terrible season though, because we've been torching the NBA. I could tell it was a troll with that stupid fake accent. Oh yeah, God, these people are pathetic. Well, we've been torching the NBA. If you guys aren't on the Patreon, man, the Patreon's been paying. So, what a dumbass. Let's go out to 771.
Zach, do you have any predictions for who might be Trump's running mate, assuming it is Trump?
Well, we've been saying for a long time it could end up being the Ronald McDonald ticket since Trump likes McDonald's so much, and you got Ronald versus Donald for a year now. So,
Okay. What do you think about this guy named Tim Scott?
I guess that's a thought. Some diversity.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to know if you had anything out there.
I haven't thought about it too much. I don't really care. I'll just be surprised if Trump doesn't win the rig thing. So,
And I guess, I mean, I haven't seen a predictions video for 2024, but if you had to go on record, is there anything, that Texas border thing looks like it's kind of heating up? Anything you're thinking?
I put out all kinds of expectations that I have for 2024 from Biden to Trump. So,
It's definitely the Biden thing, and I know that you've been saying that for a long time.
yeah.
But you have any ideas about the border situation?
It could be a story. There's this assassination thing. Could they have like a border crosser take out a candidate to further the hysteria with that issue as well? It's just annoying watching all this stuff happen. You can see how it's just all being so perfectly contrived to drive everybody nuts. But yeah, the border. I mean, the border's been an issue for 30 years. I mean, so.
That's true.
Yeah, it's not like it's some new thing. It's just like, yeah, Fox News more coverage doesn't mean it's been this way for all. I mean, when I was in high school, that every time we'd have a civics debate, that was the topic back then in the 90s. So I mean, nothing's changed.
No, I agree with you. I guess my last question would be, do you think about remedies or solutions? I know it's super frustrating. Do you think getting land is possible?
Do I think what's possible?
Like getting a large piece of land?
I don't know. People, from what I've seen, people have a hard time cooperating and working together. So,
Yeah, that's the issue.
I mean, it's possible.
All right.
It'll be challenging. So,
I mean, you personally, could you ever foresee yourself going off?
no, because I got too many snakes and agents around me. It's like when I go out, half the people there are seemingly feds. So the guy who was most about like the community thing was the biggest fed in the community. So that's the whole problem.
Yeah, I hear you. I know what you're saying. All right. Yeah, I'm thinking about getting some land, but
And that's a good idea.
state would be the best.
That's a good idea.
So do you have a state that you recommend?
Well, I think if they take out the power, you want to be somewhere south where you can, like a place like Alabama, that kind of place where you can have some land and you can grow year round. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool, man.
all right.
Appreciate it.
All right. Yep. Welcome. Later. Shout out to John Mendoza and also Spatium Viator. Appreciate both you guys. The $2 super streams or $2 super chats make a big difference. We got 5 of them now. Thank you. 317.
Hey, what's going on, Zach?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, man, I just had a quick basketball one. If you bear with me. So you said today was a six-day numerology.
Yeah.
A player from the Pistons, Bojan Bogdanovic. I've been doing this where I just look at top performers and try to decode, like try to reverse engineer decode. Today was Bojan Bogdanovic's 281st day at his age. And that's the 60th prime on a day with six numerology. Yeah, he scored 34 points today. Definitely one of his highest scoring games of the season. So.
Okay. Good observation. Appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Take care. Let's see. Well, we're almost out of show. We got a couple minutes left. And if you want to phone in, now is the time. 347. Hello.
Zach, how's it going? It's Gabe.
Yeah, what's up?
I want to talk to you about the MLK son's death.
Okay.
I don't know if you I know you worked on this already, but just some things I've seen. So he died 55 years, 293 days from MLK's death. That's the 62 prime. Died at 62. The same night, Towns hit 62 points. It was 68 days from his last birthday from Towns.
Minneapolis is 62. He plays for the T-Wolves.
Yeah. So 68 days from his last birthday. MLK died in 1968.
Well, the more logical connection, like I don't know why he'd be connected to Towns, to be perfectly honest, but we do know who almost always plays on MLK Day is King James LeBron, and King equals 23, and he died 23 days after LeBron's birthday. That definitely stood out to me.
Supposedly he has like a fake injury, LeBron, so they had him out.
Yeah. He missed the game versus the Clippers.
But I see something crazy that he could hit because tomorrow's his 31st game tomorrow. So
okay.
Anyways, about the Warriors, not the head coach, not Steve Kerr, but the assistant coach died at 46. They hired him on 8/13/2021. The Warriors have a record of 40-60 away since he was hired, so he died at 46. That was quite interesting that they have a record of 40-60 since he was hired. And what else? Oh, the Hawks met the Kings with 95 versus the Kings. The same day MLK's son died. Observing a few things. It was also on that day the Raptors fell 20-16 versus the Grizzlies since Kobe's 81-point game is the 666 career game, and that was exactly 216 months ago.
Okay.
Anyways, I just really wanted to bring up the MLK, the Towns. I don't know what connection that was, but it's just, him hitting 62 points, 68 days from his last birthday is quite interesting.
All right.
That they're doing.
I'll look more into it. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right, take care.
Yeah. 812, your last call. We got 20 seconds of show left. (812). All right, I can tell it's a troll. Well, then I went to 218, and then they hung up. Yeah, we're out to show you guys. So we can all right, we can try. You got 15 seconds, 407.
What up, Zach? First of all, shout out to the trolls paying for the Patreon and losing their money at the same time. But did you hear about the Plus Pool getting built in New York in the East River? Well, they call it the Plus Pool. It kind of looks like an X, but I guess it's a plus. And Plus Pool equals 126. East River also equals 126. So.
Interesting. I'll have to look that up.
Kind of interesting. Yeah, Cassie Hochul just announced. I mean, they say it's been in the works, but she just approved it. And it looks like a big X, kind of like the X theme we've had so far. But it's supposed to get open next year.
Okay. I'll check
I
that
didn't
out.
look much into it, but, you know, with these people, it's always something.
Well, appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, take care.
All right, man. Have a good night. All right, guys, we're out of show. And again, thank you to everyone who called. Oh,
My name is Ella.
let me disconnect from the show. Our time slot is over. And all right. I am actually exhausted. I just want to pass out, but let me see. Any last comments in the chat? "18 days before the Super Bowl." Yeah, that's true. Hold on. Truth Does Not Exist wants to say something.
Hey, man, what's up?
Yeah, what's up?
So the last caller, Jason, he was talking about the cops and stuff, and recently, like, my town has just been like crawling with cops everywhere. At night, they're just like at every section, and like, you know, like and I just like, it just makes me feel unsafe because it's like, oh, you know, what happens when they pull me over for bullshit or whatever, like, you know, and I'm like a new driver or whatever, and then you know, just how it is. They like to intimidate people. It also reminded me about when you got raided all those years ago, and they broke all your stuff except for your TV. You know, just like what scumbags these people are. You know, that they like. Why? Because like, oh, you decided to grow a plant in your house. I mean, it's just they're just there to intimidate us. You know. And you know, now it's nearing tax season. You know, tax season's coming up, so you better get out the Vaseline, pucker your buttholes, that way the IRS can come over. It's also funny. Like I see all these girls that are like, "Oh, I want a cop boyfriend." It's like, if you end up getting like abused, it's like you have to blame it yourself. It's like you want to date somebody who likes like who's petty and likes like putting power over people. It's like you're an idiot. But you know, it just shows where society's gone. I also wanted to say, so I bought a gallon of acetone like pre-inflation, before inflation. And it costs $21 for a gallon of acetone, which is like their industrial chemicals. You want to guess how much it costs post-inflation?
40.
Hello?
$40.
40? Okay, it costs $21 still.
Okay, the price hasn't changed.
It hasn't changed at all. And all the other industrial chemicals, I got like xylene, toluene, and dichloromethane and stuff all cost the exact price that it did in my lab before. So it's funny that the inflation is like, it's like targeted inflation. They're targeting it at like food and all this stuff, but yet all these industrial chemicals that like 99% of people don't need, the only things that are using that are companies and stuff, the prices on all that stuff that are like not home essentials is all like stayed the exact same price.
Well, I guess that speaks to the fake economy. Yeah, it's just like fertilizer is super expensive too, which is food, and even yard fertilizer, if you have a lawn, becomes super expensive. Just things that people have in their day-to-day lives, have gone way up. So
yeah, and that's another perfect thing. Guess what? Fertilizer is expensive. What do you need fertilizer for? Growing your own stuff at home. So it's funny how they play that game, you know, where they're even trying to make it expensive for people to grow food in their house. And also, I don't know, it's like if you're like in a suburban area, or like a city area, it's illegal basically to grow your own food. Like it's illegal to have chickens and cows and all this stuff. And, you know, that's just there to control you, because guess what? The people who, you know, if something happens in the future, you know, people who have all these amenities are going to be, you know, are going to tough it out, and they'll save money, and they don't have to participate in the system as much. You know, I mean, imagine if you could just own your home, grow your own food, you know, how little your expenses would be. You wouldn't be at the mercy of like these companies that like, oh, well, you know, I got to take that pokey doke and, you know, or otherwise I'm going to get fired. And if I get fired, then I'll lose my house and I'll live on the street and I can't afford food. And that's what they're trying to take away. And it's funny thing about the pokey doke, my dad has like heart problems. And so he hasn't been able to see like a cardiologist in months. And all the cardiologists are all booked up in like the post 2021 era. They're all booked up like 3 to like 6 months in advance, like completely booked. You can't get an appointment.
yeah, and I mean, to be fair, heart disease was always a huge problem in the U.S. Now it's even worse. So
yeah. Well, my dad, he doesn't have heart disease. He has like it's genetic for him. It's something genetic that he has in his family. Yeah, it's it's funny that and that's another thing. Heart disease is the biggest thing. And have you watched Wall-E recently?
no, but I'm well aware of that cartoon.
Do you remember how BNL, by and large, that they're that company's basically like the government?
I can't remember. I just remember it being a messed up cartoon.
So yeah, in that movie, the company is the government, and everybody just drinks soda basically all day, and they're like in the chairs. They're on the screens all day. But yeah, and another thing that was kind of bugging me in the last show, this lady called in. This crazy lady is like, "Oh yeah, guys, I know about the adrenochrome." And like, you know, these people and the flat earthers they just make me sick with the stupid stuff that they're saying. And the adrenochrome, I want to address that because I noticed that you haven't really addressed that. And I actually I called in about this like 4 years ago, and after that, I didn't really hear as many people calling in with the adrenochrome. But I guess that now there's new people and they don't want that, so I feel like I have to do it again. But you can buy adrenochrome. You can look it up right now on Google or whatever. Put adrenochrome for sale. You'll have Molecular Depot selling it to you. You'll have Santa Cruz Biotechnology selling it to you. You'll have Sigma Aldrich selling it to you. All these companies are all selling like the pure adrenochrome, and a Molecular Depot, they're actually selling it like for what's it called? Like I can't remember what it's called, like BioSafe or whatever, for biotech research safe. So it's like perfect lab grade stuff that you can get and it doesn't cost that much. It's like, you know, maybe like $300 for like a liter, which, you know, if you think about in drugs, is like an insane amount. I mean, if it was any other drug, that amount of drugs would be like at least $10 or $20 or $30,000. And of course, this adrenochrome is dirt cheap, and you can actually make it yourself at home. You can make pure adrenochrome. I can actually read out the recipe because people are like, "Oh, you know, I don't know."
I know you've called in about this several times over the years. I mean,
yeah.
So,
but yeah, I just wanted you guys to know that because you know, it's like, yeah, this is just BS, and you know, You can buy it online.
Right.
And so,
But like I also just said before you called in with these things, I said I do also want to wrap up the show. I'm tired. So.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah. All right. Later, man. Okay. DK was trying to call in too. DK, if you want to phone in, go ahead. We'll hang on for DK. DK likes to call in on Wednesdays, and then we'll wrap it up. So. All right. What's up, DK?
Hey, Zach. I hear you want to go fast, so I'll just go fast. I was also thinking about that, the guy scoring the 62 points, and then Martin Luther King's son dying at 62. And then I thought, the guy scored 62 and the other guy scored 70 on the same day, equaling 132. Does that mean anything,
Did Town score 62 on Monday or Tuesday?
It was the same night those guys scored 70 and 62. Was that Monday or Tuesday? No, it was Monday, I think. Yeah, Monday.
Yeah, because Embiid scored his high 70 on the anniversary of Kobe, which was the 22nd. Oh, shit, I guess that was Monday. I'm losing track. Yeah, because today's the 24th. Okay, so they did both do it. It was the anniversary of Kobe. And then so Minneapolis has the connection to the Lakers because where the Lakers began. And then Philly, where Embiid is where Kobe's from. So, yeah, there's something going on there.
Then I was just thinking how, I think you got all the football down. Like I was just watching highlights at the gym. Like these guys are throwing like total purposeful interceptions. I mean, you were a quarterback. It's just, just stuff you wouldn't do. It seems so obvious, to me.
It is so obvious. It's just like the Washington quarterback plays lights out all year, and then the championship game, you can't hit wide open receivers. I mean, I just get it. It's just like, how can't people figure out that this is all rigged and these guys are taking money? So
yeah, and just like the way throwing it to guys that are not open right to the defender, where he's like it makes it like he steps in front of him last second, but he was never really open. Like it seems so obvious, especially when they show it on a replay like twice, and you're like, oh my god, why would he even have thrown that? It just makes no sense, Like you said, they're playing great all season, and all of a sudden you just throw an interception after interception.
And here's the other thing I'll say. People are like, man, Purdy was the last pick of the draft. You know what? I think if you got drafted in the NFL and you were one of the best 200 football players in the country, selected to get paid all this money, you'd be real damn good at football, even if you were the 200 and something pick. Because there's a lot of good football players. And yeah, for anyone who's an athlete, just watching pro sports, it just doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. I mean, it's just like, not to toot my own horn. I have a good arm, and I'm good I was a great pitcher, good quarterback. When I watch pros make the errors they make and miss the throws, I'm just like, how? Like, how could they ever make it to that level and make that big of a mistake? Like, I never had a pass that bad in my life when I was in middle school. So anyway, go ahead.
Exactly. Can you open up your email real quick? I sent you 2 emails. Open up the one that says Diamond. And I talked about, this was actually my first comments ever to you when I found your work, was the Gabby Petito small talk and the brain laundry. And then on my first call, I talked about how the baseball has the upside down pentagram, and then the bases are all like 4-sided. You got that email up yet?
Which one did you send it to?
GematriaEffectNews.
Why do I not see it?
Oh, really? That's weird.
Yeah, I don't see any email.
I'll send it to you right now again. So GematriaEffectNews at Gmail. Okay. Empty subject, send anyway. Okay. So originally, I know they call the pitcher's mound on the diamond, right? Or they call that The diamond.
The infield is the diamond.
Huh?
The infield is the diamond in baseball.
The infield. Okay, so that was the original shape of the home plate. It was a diamond. It was. I mean, it's a square just turned 45 degrees. So the points are facing like the pitcher.
No, the point's not facing the pitcher. The point is facing the catcher.
No, I'm saying the original shape was an actual diamond. It wasn't a pentagram. So it would be like one point was facing the pitcher, one point was facing the batter, and then the other 2 points were facing like, I guess not really the bases because the bases go off at an angle, but like, they were facing off to the sides. And then they thought it was kind of hard to judge what a strike was because the points were kind of harder to see on the outside because it's a thinner base. So then they made it a circle. And then lastly, now we have this pentagram, which is also basically the Superman logo with the Saturn S inside it. Did you get that email yet?
I got it up on the screen, home plate.
Okay, yeah. So that's just something that I was thinking of, like, how they have these, the ritual. They went from the diamond to the circle to the pentagram. Another here. Let me send you the people who are saying, you should be measuring things like in Hebrew, the Hebrew cipher instead of the English cipher, and then you keep telling them, well, the world language is English. But I think I mentioned this before. English is basically the phonetic inversion of Hebrew. So it would be like, like how Manly P. Hall says, do everything forwards and backwards. So technically it's the same thing if you look at it from like a phonetic standpoint. So it wouldn't really matter which one of those you're doing. It would be the same as far as the way our brain is deciphering it. We're just not smart enough to know that. I just sent you another email. It says, actually it was empty subject as well, but I don't know if you saw that. Did you see the guy, what was going on with the guy Vivek?
I don't know what the latest is with him.
Open up that last email. I just sent it to you right now. He was like, the big story was that he sold the stock in his company while he was running. Like, the stock quadrupled in value, and then he sold 2 bouts of 33 worth 33 million a piece. 2 times he sold his stock. It went up from like $3 and some change up to 11. Look at the numbers on that. And then he sold 2 times for 33 million. So that equals 66 million, which is 66 plus 6 zeros. So 666. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
And then right now we're in this, we're in this time of like, people are going to start voting, and the dialectic of the illusion of 2 sides. And I just want to remind people.
You know what Vivek reminds me of? Every time I pick up the phone and there's a scammer on it. By the way, I want to make a point about that, because who works at all these big tech places? I mean, it's a lot of Indians, right? And then you have all these big tech Indian scams, and you have Google like moving things to the top of your, like you search because you have a computer problem. So you search the computer company that you have in troubleshooting. What's Google got up at the top of the search? They got some Indian scammer line. Again, this stuff's not an accident, you guys. And that's also the danger of living in this new world order and having all these people over here who really, it makes me sick, really. But anyway, I'll quit. Go ahead.
Yeah, and then you call their customer service and you get an Indian guy or Indian.
Right, so you can't tell the difference. Right, we're all used to, exactly. And there are good Indian people. I don't mean to, but that is the reality of what's going on. I see like YouTube running scams in advertising. They'll have them up for a day. And if you ever, you'll catch it because you're like, that's too good to be true. If you call those lines, sure enough, an Indian person's on the line. It's like, why is Google even allowing this scam ad to be on their platform today? But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. And then, getting into this voting thing now that, basically is going to be top news for this whole year. I like to remind people that it's an old ritual. So like when Rome fell, it got divided into two sides, east and west. And I mean, we know Rome never fell. They just spread out and made new Romes everywhere, like Rome on the Potomac, Paris, Zurich, you know what I'm saying, all over the place, Berlin. It's always like and then that was the original illusion of two sides going against each other in Rome, the two sides of Rome after Rome fell, which were red and blue. And then, you had like Berlin also had like a west and east side divided by the Berlin Wall, East Germany, West Germany. And then, you have like East Coast versus West Coast, which put all the, black people in jail and, with the gangster rap. And then, they came in here to America since it was the New World, and they figured, here it would be, instead of the war versus, like, it's always East versus West, here they would do North versus the South, so we had, like, North Dakota, South Dakota, North Carolina, South Carolina. There's a West Germany, but there's no, West Virginia, but there's no East Virginia, just regular. So for the theme for over here would be more like North-South rather than East-West, but it's like, it's literally the same old Roman scam from a couple thousand years ago or whatever, and it's still this same dialectic. There's nothing has changed at all. It's still just Rome. And then the last thing I'll say is the one guy, I forgot which call it was. Maybe was it last week's TFR or just something recently. He was talking about how it's like an energy harvest and how exactly that's working. So it's not these people, these fake Jews that they put to run the earth that are harvesting our energy. They're just the farmers. We're the energy or the food supply, which, you eat food for energy. So we're the energy. They're the farmers. The energy harvest is happening beyond that. So the energy harvest is actually an interdimensional thing. And that's what these fake Jew, farmers are doing, is just farming the energy for their bosses. So that's really how it works. So you can't really look at like, the politicians or even the people that are right above the politicians, like Jesuits. A lot of the politicians are Jesuits themselves, but you would talk about these families that are running the Jesuits. They're not even the energy, the loose eaters. They're doing things on a physical realm, and the energy they're harvesting off of us is money. And I might as well just say that I've said this before, but everything they tell us in school is bullshit and compliance. So why on earth would anybody believe the way they deal with the money supply is real? Like the way they tell us, oh, inflation is, if they print more money, then there's inflation. That's not even really how the money supply works. They're putting money into the money supply on a daily basis. They print it for themselves, which they don't need to do that anymore. It's just numbers on a computer screen. And then as they spend the money, it trickles down to us. That's literally the economy. That's why they have all the money, and all their fake Jew minions have all the money, because they print it for themselves. And then whatever they use it on, they pay us for our labor or whatever it is that we're doing. Then we get it. Then we go to the store, most of their stores, and give it right back to them. Or then it trickles down through the economy, or through, to the lowest common denominator. That's how actually what the economy is. There's no such thing as inflation. Just like the kid was just saying, some things have gone up in price, but other things haven't. It makes absolutely no sense. They're arbitrarily raising the prices on things that we need. That's it. The
economy is fake.
Through the roof.
The economy is fake. The economy is fake. But yeah, but if the economy wasn't fake, printing money does cause inflation. But yeah, it is true. They're just raising prices on things people need, and TV prices haven't gone up.
Yeah, right. Those are going down. You can still get one of those huge ones for like $400, right?
I saw 75-inch TVs on sale for like $800 on Black Friday. I was like, God, 75-inch TV, $800, really?
I remember when 50-inch plasmas first came out, they were $10,000. I remember I wanted one. I was like, $10,000? Jeez, I could buy 2 cars at that time for, like 2 used cars you could buy for that price. It was like, wow, $10,000? How am I going to scrape that together, Oh, man. But anyway, I know you want to get off, so I'll stop there.
All right. Have a good night, DK.
Okay.
All right. Later, man. All right. And shout out to the super chatters. We got it back up to $17. 7 super chats for $17. That's a perfect mathematical pairing. 17 the 7th prime. But again, appreciate all the good calls tonight. Thank you to everyone who hit the like and the share. And we'll see what tomorrow brings. Till next time, True Seeker.